seconds. Just going to be a little jump.
A jump for who? You or me?
For Facebook.
A jump for Facebook. Good stuff.
And July.
Amazing. Okay. Well, I better show myself to the world then, really, hadn't I, if we're live? We are live. Good morning. Apparently we're live. Josh tells me so. It must be true. Good morning and welcome to Natasha Makes. Only today, Natasha doth not make, for it is the last Friday of the month, and on the last Friday of the month, we have guest designer takeover. And we have the lovely Rachel with us this morning. Rachel Ilsley, that's correct, isn't it, Rachel?
It certainly
Marvellous,
is, yes.
I've got it right. So there's tick, first thing to get right, so that's done, which is great. But today, not only does Natasha not make, she also does not present. And some of you may be looking at your screens and thinking, well, who is she? Who is she? Who is this woman? I'm holding the fort today because lovely Natasha is a busy girl, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a moment. I, for those of you who don't know me, am Gemma Pinfield-Thomas, known affectionately here as PT. I am Natasha's office manager, sidekick, presser of buttons, work wife, all of those things. And many of you will have seen me in the comments, which reminds me, I don't have that up. Probably shouldn't I? So I can see what everyone has to say. I'm presser of buttons and quite often commenter on the Facebook stream, and you'll see me sign things off as PT. But today I'm holding the fort. I'm not sure if she is trusting or slightly daft, but she's left me to look after the show today. So without ado, I shall carry on and show you what we've got to offer. Lovely Josh is just carrying some fabric in for me. It's nothing like last minute Larry stuff, is there? Thank you, Josh. I know we've got.
It's like a pool noodle.
It's like a pool noodle. It is a bit. Just, yeah, flop those there. We'll keep our distance. Just, last minute prep. Inga's here as well. It's all going on. Thank you. Well, in true form, because Natasha isn't here, a few things went a little bit awry this morning. But we've coped, haven't we, Rachel?
We certainly have.
It's all fine.
True professional spirit.
Yeah. So yeah, apologies for the late entrance fabrics, but I know I've done that when Tasha's been presenting before, so we'll be fine. I can see people are commenting. Good morning. I'm going to quickly have a cap of who's here, actually. I can see Auntie Lizzie Crangle's on. Hello, thank you very much for joining us today. There's loads of names I recognise. Some of you because I see you on the feed. Ginny up in Pittenweem, nice to see you. Claire Angelina, I've spoken to so many of you through the feed, haven't I? And more of you, I've processed your orders as well, so that's all quite exciting. But where is Natasha today? Well, those of you who watch regularly and were watching earlier in the week will know she is at Festival of Quilts. She is currently doing an interview, a pre-recorded interview with Kaffe, so they're walking through the festival and getting Kaffe's take on all the quilts. I mean, what an amazing experience being able to walk that with him and hear his take on it all. I mean, gorgeous. So that's what they're up to. Fortunately, it's being recorded, so we will all get to see it, and that will go out on Bank Holiday Monday, which is a month today, 30th of August. So we'll all look forward to that. As a result, I have the power here, Rachel. You see, I can reduce things, I can create bundles, I can do all sorts. So what did I do? Threw together some deals. I mean, what's not to love? Being as Tash is with Kaffe, we have Kaffe's beautiful books. His latest book is Quilts in an English Village, and then earlier this year he released Kaffe Fassett in the Studio. And I've put a bundle on that today, so let's play with the cameras, shall we? Hey, let's go overhead and you can see these here are the beautiful books. Okay, oh, you can see the iPad and everything. Probably shouldn't have that in shot, should we? I don't know, she's such a seasoned pro, this Natasha, and I've got to get a hang of that. But we have the Kaffe Fassett in the Studio book, which is a hardback book, and you'll see beautifully signed as well. But they are absolutely glorious, beautiful books. And I just thought today, being as Tash is, I'm sorry if you can hear lovely playful children in the background, school holidays and all that. But being as Tash is with Kaffe at Festival, it seemed right to offer these up as a bundle for those who haven't had the chance to get this one yet. You can get the two together. Now this is his newest book. This is Quilts in an English Village. And again, absolutely stunning. The beautiful thing here as well is you get these fabulous shots of the Cotswolds, I think, with the stunning quilts. And we have, say, the paperweight checkerboard quilt here. You'll have seen we've put together for some of these quilts, quilt bundles as well. We've got really, really limited stocks of those. But we have managed to put some bundles together. They're not always exact replicas of what's in the book. Some of them have slight adjustments, but we do have a few kits that we've put together because who can resist? Dark Boxes is one of them actually, but as you can see, absolutely beautifully photographed. And yeah, you can get the quilt kits, fabric kits that go with the book on our website if you are quick. So that's your first offer today that we've got. But yes, let's have a proper good morning for everyone, shall we? The quilt interview sounds amazing and something to look forward to. Do you know, I think for a lot of people at the moment, you know, you're not sure whether you want to go to festival or not. COVID obviously has been around and some people feel confident to go, others don't. So being able to see festival online will be amazing anyway. But to be taken around it by Natasha and Kaffe, who, if you've not seen Natasha interview Kaffe, I know I'm biased, she's, you know, she's my best buddy and she's incredible, but no one interviews Kaffe like Natasha. They've just got a lovely bond, and to see them go around the show and get his take on it, it's going to be amazing. You're quite right, Anne, so I'm looking forward to that too. Oh, Susie's around. Hi, Susie Duncan, and oh, loads of people are saying hello. This is gorgeous. Good luck. Thank you for the good luck. We've got past the techie things now, haven't we?
We certainly have.
So
yes.
we'll be all right, Rachel.
We
We'll
will.
be good. Also, something to note is that our Liberty competition will come to an end soon as well, because it's coming towards the end of the month. I don't know where these months go. So you've still got a last opportunity to get into the Liberty competition. I think Tash is going to announce the winners on Monday. We've got several prizes to give away, and they're the most incredible fat quarter box bundles. Those, to enter that competition, you literally just need to buy something Liberty. We've still got Wiltshire Shadows on cut to order, and we've got some half metre heavens as well. Anything Liberty will get you entered, and SJ will get that drawn ready for Monday. We also have today a really small team, small but perfectly formed, I think, Rachel? Yeah. We have a small team. SJ is on annual leave, so for those of you who've got queries, order combinations, things like that, lovely Lucy is at the end of the info at email address. Hi, Lucy. If anyone could say hi to Lucy, she's on Facebook as well this morning. She's new to the team, she's brilliant and she's doing a great job, but if you have slight delays on replies to your emails, a little patience would be very much appreciated. All right. I'm trying to think what else I needed to talk about. We've got Josh manning Facebook, YouTube, and just generally trying to fix anything techie today, all on his own. Inga's in the warehouse packing your orders as usual. I will also have some muscle back here in a little while to lift my bolts onto the table in the form of my lovely daughter, because she can stand right next to me and not have to worry about social distancing because I've got an injured neck. So if you see another pair of hands as the fabrics come on and off, that will be Meg PT, who's watching as well. Meg does not want to be seen by the camera, so we will be in overhead shot when the fabrics come up. But yes, today we're going to be looking at a Sew Me Something pattern, aren't we?
We are.
The Peas Blossom, that's right,
Yep.
isn't it, Rachel?
Yep.
You enjoyed making that one?
It's been a brilliant little make.
Great.
Yeah, and
Oh,
for
brilliant.
everybody as well.
Yeah.
Not just seasoned sewers, beginners, but I will explain all.
Amazing, I can't wait. So I've had a little foray into dressmaking. I made a pencil skirt
Wow.
out of some charity shop curtains at one
Wow.
point. And it came out really well and I was
Yeah.
really surprised.
Yeah.
And I've made a few other things, but
Yeah.
everything's been with wovens. I've not at any point felt confident to have a go with jersey.
Yeah.
And I don't really know why, because a lot of people say it's easier or just as easy to use. But I think it's the whole idea of overstretching or things curling, all sorts of things. So I'm looking forward to hearing
Lots of
more about
Rachel's
that today.
tips later.
Oh, fantastic. Well, when I heard it was a Jersey show I'd be presenting today, I gave Janet from Vlisolina a call, who she's my oracle on all things Vlisolina, and she's amazing. And she did recommend some of the products that we stock, because we actually have a lovely, really comprehensive selection of Vlisolina on our website. So she did recommend a few things that we should have, one of which I know you've got to demonstrate for today. But I'll just show you guys what we've got, because I think it's important that everyone has a little bit of information there. So I might even go into close-up shot to have a play with the cameras and make sure that they're definitely where they need to be before you come over, Rachel. So Janet's top tips for jersey. The first one that we talked about was this one here, which is seam tape T15. So we'll go into close-up and you can have a little look at that. There we go. Hurrah, it's even focusing, so that's good. There we are. So that's your seam tape flexible T15. Now, what this one's for, I was reliably told, it's ideal for tricky fabrics that like to curl, roll, hems, seams, things that need a bit of stability. Yeah. So she recommended this for lots of things. And I'm going to let you talk about them in much more detail, Rachel, because you know. Then we had the bias tape T12 that was mentioned as well. So we'll show you those. Now, bias tape T12, we have in packets, these ones here. Okay, whoop, she says. Honestly, knowing which way to go, which way's forward and which way's backwards is half the struggle on this. So we have pre-packet T12 like this. And we also have it cut to order as well. So you'll see I've tagged all of these onto today's collection so you can find them easily. But we do have a Vlisolina section on our website. The bias tape, again, that was something that, well, Jenny Taylor's done an amazing thing on Vlisolina UK, hasn't she, about the different tapes. But that was said to be good for curved edges and all sorts of things, but just preventing overstretching was what I got from that.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, you see. And I made loads of notes, Rachel, so if you see
I'll
me
go
tapping...
home after I've had my coffee, is that okay?
Don't be so daft. So I will be sat scribbling and adding to my notes through the show today. You just know. Josh has just appeared with coffee also. Amazing. Well, you know, I might.
Gin?
Do you know, I won't have a gin because I'll be on the floor. If I have I've got a cold coffee there. I'm just going to drink that.
Do you want to microwave it?
No.
I know that's gross, but...
How many people have ever microwaved a coffee? We've all done it at some point in our lives, haven't we? Gorgeous. Okay, the last one I'm going to mention for now is Stretch Fix. Now, Stretch Fix, for my money, sounded like an absolute diamond. I was reading about it. Janet described this to me, Rachel, as being like stretchy Bonder web.
Yes, it is.
She said it was stretchy Bonder web, and that just sounds amazing for all sorts of things.
Yeah. They can all be used for so many different things to do with jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because the main word really with jersey is stability.
Yes.
And if you've got stability, it's so easy to sew.
Brilliant. And with this as well, they do a wider one as well, and you can use it for a plique and all sorts, can't you?
Oh, yes.
But on a stretch fabric, which, And, you know, all these things. I'm a bit of a geek, ladies and gents. I just, you know, I like a good geek. So when Janet was telling me about all of these different tapes, I was making loads of notes. And then I watched Jenny's thing on YouTube and I wrote loads more notes. If you see me scribbling or tapping today, it will just be me adding to my notes. Because I just love it. I think it's really interesting. But to know that we've got all of these that will help your jersey make and stabilise where stability needs to be had is brilliant. So we've got all of those. We also have edge tape and all sorts of other things that I know we can find out more about as we go along. I'm keen not to stand here for the entire show because it is guest designer takeover, not guest presenter takeover. There are some other things that we have also on the website. Something that I wanted to draw to everyone's attention was this friend here, which they were using a lot on the sewing bee. I'm a scissor fan. I
And
would
me.
be all over my bent trimmer scissors,
And me.
and these are phenomenal. But for those that did see on the Great British Sewing Bee the Prim Ergonomics rotary cutter, we do have a few of those in stock. They sold out lightning fast when we got them in before, but we've managed to get a few more for the dressmaking show today. Your bent trimmer scissors are also there, but it is worth noting when you go to the website, if you look at the very top, there's a red banner, and that red banner gives you a code. So if you're spending over £100 before you put the scissors in your baskets, just go pop the scissors in your basket, the bent trimmer scissors, they're worth £29, then put the code in at checkout in the discount box, and those will be completely free of charge. £29 scissors free.
Whoa.
I know. I think if you're spending £80 and then you can just, I don't know, spend it, or even £90, that kind of thing, spend a little bit more and get your free £30 scissors.
Definitely.
I've seen a few of you, and you've had a lot of pairs of these for free over the last few weeks, and I don't blame you one bit, because you can never find your scissors when you want them, can you?
No.
You put them down, and if your sewing room's anything like mine, it's chaos, isn't it? But also, what great gifts. I've got
definitely.
loads of dressmaking friends. Give them
Yeah.
some £39 scissors. I've had worse Christmas presents, haven't you?
Definitely, yes.
For sure.
They won't be coming out today.
Right, we have now got some fabric to show you, and I did promise Meg that she would not be seen. So I will make sure we're in overhead camera mode. But just before we talk about the fabric, I'm just going to quickly show Beryl here, because she's hiding quite well. Let's move her. There we are, there's Beryl. So Beryl's wearing today's make. Rachel, we talked about fabric quantities this morning, didn't we, and size.
Yeah.
Beryl's top that she's wearing was supposed to be, did you say a 14?
Yeah.
Or thereabouts?
Yeah, this is between a 14 and a 16.
14 to 16.
And just to, because ladies come in various sizes, don't we, ladies?
Yeah.
And I'm roughly about an 18.
Yeah.
Now, I made this a 14 to 16 and it fits me perfectly.
Yeah,
But
and
it is a loose knit top.
It is.
But-
I've tried it on this morning as well, haven't I? Because I'm 12 to 14, but on account of, you know.
Well, some of
that.
us are bigger on top or bottom or whatever, aren't we,
Absolutely. On account of at the bosoms,
Yes.
I do generally buy a 14 to allow
Yes.
plenty of space.
Yes.
And this was really, really roomy on me. But that was 1.7 metres of fabric that you used for this one, and it fits someone who's an 18.
It does.
So,
Yeah.
amazing. All of the fabrics we're about to show go by the ½ metre. So if you do buy 2 metres of fabric, you're going to have plenty left over. Make a snood or whatever else that you want to make with your leftovers, which is nice as well. Right, I'm going into overhead mode. So lovely Meg can come and start lifting things for me.
Drums are rolling.
Come on then, Meg. She's watching that screen to make sure she cannot be seen. Oh, I'm loving all the messages from everyone. I will read them in a bit. I've seen a good morning, John. Nice to know you're here. That means John Cole Morgan's supporting me. God love him. Hi, John. Right, we'll show these ones first. So there are lots of different jerseys we'll show you today. I'm not going to stand and talk about the composition of everyone and how you wash it and all of that sort of shenanigans, because it really will be guest presenter takeover, and that'll be ridiculous. But all of the information that we could glean from the manufacturers is listed on each of the fabrics on the website, so you can easily pick that up. Any other questions you've got, fire them away in comments, and once I'm sitting in the corner, then I will absolutely answer what I can. Thank you, Meg. So the first jersey that we've got are these 3 here, and you'll see them. They're all listed on today's collection. If Josh hasn't already posted a link by the time I sit down, I'll pop it in the Facebook comments. But if you just go to the front page of the website, scroll down to where it says Guest Designer Takeover and click that link, you will see everything listed there. We also have, look at this, a lovely snuggly reverse to these. These are lovely and soft. I don't know whether you've had a good grope, Rachel. You'll get to have a feel of everything.
I love a
in
good
while.
grope.
Yeah, don't we all?
Absolutely.
Don't we all?
Absolutely.
So Rachel and I only met this morning. Hang on. We only met this morning. It's a couple of things we've already gleaned in the short time we've known each other. One is we both love a good gab. So Lord help us today, we'll try and stay on topic. Another thing is that we're quite, friendly with the smut. But we all love a good grope, ladies and gentlemen, and these are super soft and snuggly, aren't they? So these are at the lower end, price-wise, of our jerseys, and they're absolutely beautiful. I have, because she's not here, you're going to hear this a lot. Because she's not here, I've taken 15% off all our jerseys today as well. And I know Tash will totally approve as well. We had a conversation and her thoughts were, there's a lot of our viewers that haven't tried dressmaking. We want to give them the chance to. And she's so lovely like that. So yeah, these would be, I think these come out at not much over £5 a half metre. I know. Yeah. It's fine, we're moving premises soon, so if I've priced things too cheaply, it's just less to move, isn't it? She won't tell me off too much, but we have this beautiful wine colour, the dark grey, and then this lovely navy. I love a navy.
So do I.
I wear navy a lot. It's
very
classic.
slimming.
Yeah. Well, that's my theory. Meg, I need you to change my fabrics over, please. That'd be great. She keeps glancing at the screen that shows us what the viewers can see. Make sure she can't be seen. Isn't that right, Meg? There we go. Wonderful. Thank you. Oh, you're so good. So the next ones I'd like are these here. That's lovely. Well, those 6 really, but I can have all 3 stripe. Oh, I don't know what to have next. Hey? Everyone's saying, oh, my mum's watching. Hiya, Eds. Morning, sweetheart, she says, with lots of kisses. Oh. Doesn't matter that I'm 40. You're always your mum's sweetheart, aren't you?
Always your babies.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, that's so nice. Let's get these fabrics on. So, these are your Avalana jersey melange. They are absolutely gorgeous. They're a really gorgeously soft medium weight jersey. The composition does differ slightly on everyone, like I said, but you can get that information on the website, okay? Now these are, I never know how to pronounce this, is it Ercatex or Ecotex Standard 100? Don't know. All I know, don't know, she says, she's mouthing at me, don't know.
Is that because they're flammable resistant?
These...
That is, isn't it?
I double checked, because I've heard Tash say it's kind of like the gold standard.
Yeah.
But I did double check, and it's to do with them having been tested to make sure that they are safe for use children. In home and human clothing.
Yeah.
It just tests against nasties, and it could be zips or knickknackery or anything like that it's tested. But yeah, if they've got the Ercatex standard on there,
Only
that's
the
good
best.
Stuff. I know.
Only the best that Natasha makes.
I know. Well, we do try.
I know.
Tash always says that she will only buy what she loves.
Yeah.
Because, initially I think it was worst case scenario, if we don't sell it, then I'm stuck with it and I don't mind because I love it anyway. But yeah, she will only buy what she loves. And these are absolutely stunning. They're so soft. But these are a lighter weight jersey than the last ones. They've not got that fuzzy back to them. So depending on what you're looking at for your top, and these are great. Okay, so we've also got some pink ones. Let's get Meg to throw those across as well. She keeps hiding in case I put the front camera on. She puts the bolts on the table and then runs. All right, so here we have our beautiful pinks as well. So you've got the choice of 3 stripe and 3 plain, but all of these are the beautiful jersey melange, which is really nice. Okay, so those we have. I don't know, did you ever think you'd be employed muscle? She's so slight. Meg was a dancer before she injured herself, and she's so slight, so to be employed as muscle for the morning, probably not where she saw her life going, is it? No. Okie dokie, thank you, lovely. I'll get these others on. We also have some organic cotton jersey. We have some jacquard jersey. You can't say we didn't give you enough options today, ladies and gents. Okay. Now this one is the one that Rachel's done her sample in, which is just gorgeous, isn't it? I am actually going to bring the side view camera on, the close-up camera. Let's do that, and then we can show you. Look at this. There we go. Let's move it back a little bit. Isn't that lovely? I like a star anyway. I think it's very, it doesn't seem to ever go out stars, does it?
It's
like
ageless.
polka dots. Yeah,
It's
I think
ageless.
so. But lovely. So that is the fabric that Rachel's used today. And you'll see that listed too. And like I said, there's 15% off all of these because she gave me absolute power to do what I like. So that's what I did. She might change her mind about this in the future. It might be, actually, do you know what? It might be in future that she goes, financially that didn't work out quite so well for me, so maybe I won't. Okay, let's switch around again and get you some more fabrics to have a look at. We have to move the octopus now. We were talking about putting him on our last band and making a hat. John Cole Morgan thought he'd be rather fabulous. Yeah. Let everyone see that in a bit. The octopus in the front. Thank you. Okay, now this is something a little bit special. So that one can go away. That's lovely. Thank you. We'll show this jacquard one first. Look at that. There we are. Like I say, more information on each of these as you go into each listing. So this has a grey reverse, and then it's this jacquard jersey. Just gorgeous. There's lots of different choice here today. But this next one here, this here I never thought I'd see the day. Lewis and Irene made a jersey.
Yeah, it's very unusual.
Isn't it just? So apparently they had loads of demand from people wanting a jersey because if you're a Lewis and Irene fan, and I'm a huge Lewis and Irene fan, I think anyone who watches the show knows that, because if things turn up while we're on air, I shriek quite loudly from the hall as I open the boxes. But just look at that. I mean, I know we're making t-shirts today, or tops today, but crikey, that would make a fabulous pair of
PJs.
bottoms or PJs, wouldn't it? It's just beautiful. Now, you're demoing with this one today, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get to see more of that in a little while, but
It's
again,
beautiful.
absolutely stunning. And last but not least, we have, she says, there we go. We have some rather interesting and rather fabulous, and again, rather premium and wonderful, art gallery fabric knits. So they call theirs a knit, don't they? And some do, some manufacturers, don't they, just call it a knit rather than a jersey?
It's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. But you won't see AGF advertised as a jersey. They advertise as a knit.
As a knit.
Yes, which I think sounds a little bit more upmarket. So you can see here, beautiful floral and kind of countryish design, isn't it? It's lovely. That's a Sharon Holland one, actually. Really gorgeous.
It's really pretty.
Isn't it? I like that one a lot. It's really difficult to choose between them when you've got so many beautiful fabrics here,
know.
isn't it? And that's not the only art gallery fabrics one we've got. We've got one more, which is this. I'll leave this one here. So we'll go into overhead and you can see that one properly, because I think it needs to be seen from above. I'll turn it round though, because otherwise you've got sideways on peacocks. That won't do, will it? Look at that. Aren't they lovely? Now this again is Art Gallery Fabrics, and it's a Caterina Roccella fabric, and I just thought that was lovely. I think that would, again, that would look fabulous in this top. I think that might be my choice if I were going for one, to be honest. It's very difficult for me to choose, especially when there's Lewis and Irene around and I'm such a fan. Okay. So those are your jerseys that we have today. We also have some other fabrics, and oh dear, because let me confess again. Let's do that. So, because she gave me absolute power to do things, I went and chose some other fabrics as well that we could use, because Rachel, the pattern today, the Peas Blossom pattern, it's not just a jersey pattern, is it?
No,
You can do it with wovens and all sorts, can't you?
Yeah, it says light. It does say light to medium weight jersey knit
Yeah.
fabrics.
And having a look on their website, there was a mention that you could use, say, a satin type fabric at the front
Yeah.
and a jersey at the back.
Yes, yes.
So
Quite a few tops nowadays are made like
and
that.
I just thought I've seen that quite a lot in the shops,
Yeah.
and it's something I like the look of, especially with the
Definitely.
cowl neck design that you've got there.
Definitely.
Because there's a few different ways this top can be made, which of
Yeah.
course you'll take us through.
Yeah.
Then I can sit down and shut up.
Yeah.
And that would be great. But the things that Josh said were a bit like a pool. What does he call them? Pool noodle.
Oh,
I know
yes,
what
a
he
pool.
means. One of those things that people swim with. But we have got some beautiful, these are silk finish satin polyesters. And I just thought, correct me if I'm wrong, I just thought that these might be appropriate. And
Are those stretch at all or
I
not?
think there is a bit of stretch in
Yeah.
there. You can
Yeah.
have a feel
You
and
might
see
just
what you
get-
think.
yeah.
But regardless, I thought it's a
Yes.
dressmaking show.
Yeah.
I found some beautiful fabrics. I
Yeah.
might have put those in the fabric clearance. I know. But I don't want to have to move pool noodles
No.
from this premises to our next premises. And it's
But
a
you could
matter of
use that as
weeks
the,
now.
the back, you know, you were saying the back of a
Be
top.
gorgeous, wouldn't it?
And the patterned on the front.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
So we've got that one there. We've also got, I think that's the pewter. We've then got the silver. And I've casually put all of these in the clearance. Because, you know, because I can. Shouldn't have left me here, should she? She said the other day, I've never done this. I've never handed complete control of the show over to someone else. I hope you know how much I trust you and what an honour it is. And I went, She knows I've done things before.
Yeah.
So my background, I've been teaching and presenting, but in the beauty industry for years now. So she knows I've done Facebook Lives and live audiences and all sorts. She knows all of this. So let's get a little close-up view on each of these because they are lovely. So that's your pewter. There we go. All right. Gorgeous, isn't it? I mean, I looked at these and I thought, I'm not sure what I want to make with them, but I know I want to make something because they're just so
How about a
lovely.
beautiful nightie?
Yeah, exactly. Just fabulous. And you know, again,
Sexy
some of
one.
these,
Yeah.
some of these tapes and elastics are
Yeah.
brilliant for lingerie, aren't they? Like the fram
Absolutely,
elastic
yeah.
that you're going to look
Yeah.
at, that can be used for all sorts. And that's your navy. Aren't they lovely? Honestly, left to right on this close-up, you can't tell which way you're going. I was warned. I was warned. Lovely Jane Alcock said to me, yeah, left and right, Gemma, left and right. Just a bit of a standing joke between us. These pool noodles luckily weigh nothing, Meg, but I am going to get you just to squirrel them out of the way when we've now got the camera running in a different angle, just so that they're out of the way of Rachel. Yeah. These ones, however, weigh a little bit more, so let's switch to the overhead. Ready to show you the last two fabrics that I've put into the clearance, which are some crepe. And again, I wasn't sure whether the crepe would be appropriate for the make. Again, you can tell us more about that, Rachel.
Yeah.
You are, in fact, the expert. But yeah,
Has that got stretch to it as well, the crepe?
well, I'm having a little feel
It
of
looks
it.
as though it
Yeah.
is.
A little. You'll tell us better than
But crepe
anyone.
is beautiful for draping.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is what I thought.
Yeah.
With the limited knowledge I have, this was my theory. Here we go. All right. So we have, she says, where's my close-up shot? Come on now. There we are. So we have this beautiful hot pink. Okay, beautiful hot pink crepe. And we have as well, you can see there's a slight design on this as well. It's really lovely. But you know how hot it's been recently.
that's
Crepe
nice.
is lovely for a summer make, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Nice and cool. So again, I put those in the clearance because I can, which, you know, I thought I would. Righto, Rachel, I suppose
Here I
we ought to
come.
get you to work for a living, you know. Why not? I'm going to pop the overhead on just for a second while we move all these fabrics out of the way. And then we'll let Rachel make her way over here. I've thrown stuff everywhere. This will make all the viewers laugh because I'm always telling Tash off for making a mess. And then here I am making a mess. And I tell her off all the time. I say, can't you keep your set tidier? No. Megan to dress the set for us now. Lovely, thank you. Beautiful. Look at those lovely fabrics everywhere. Okay. She's now telling me we need to put the octopus back. I can put the octopus back. So, this is our octopus. John Cole Morgan said the other day, for anyone who missed him, he was on earlier this week and you should definitely catch him up. But he said the other day that this should be on an Alice band to make a rather fabulous fascinator.
Oh, yes.
And it could be worn at festival. I did suggest that Natasha do this today, but she thought it was perhaps a little much to turn up to interview Kaffe with this on.
Yeah.
But we'll pop him back. This is from our House of Zandra
Ladies'
show.
Day at Ascot.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't it be amazing? But yeah, House of Zandra, we launched earlier this week and they're just the most beautiful felt toys. They're gorgeous. But I've got the peas blossom pattern here. I'll let you talk through that, Rachel.
Yeah, that's fine.
Whew, I'm going to go and read everyone's messages now and drink my cold coffee. That sounds all right, doesn't it? Move these books, move the laptop, all of that. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the rather fabulous Rachel Ilsley. Have that imaginary round of applause because I don't even have hands free. I'm sorry, Rachel.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, I think a round of applause for Gemma, don't you?
Oh, thanks.
Yes, she's absolutely fabulous, isn't she? So, so I'm going to be demoing the peas bottom blouse, which you can see the demo that I've got here, the sample I've got there. And jersey fabrics, as long as you've just got a few little like tips of how to sew jerseys. A lot of people are frightened of sewing jerseys because they think, oh no, it's going to get caught up in my machine and I'm just going to stretch everywhere and I'm going to get myself in a terrible muddle. Well, you don't need to. It's like they say, as long as you've got the right tools for anything, you can do it. And it's the same with jersey. So before I start demoing it, I thought this was really good actually because all Jules Fallon's, who actually is the owner of Sew Me Something, patterns, they're fabulous patterns and they're very generous sizing as well. Now just to give you an idea, I'm usually about 16 to 18 as you can see. If I turn sideways I'm a size 8 but usually I'm a 16 to 18.
Aren't we all?
Now the top that I've done is between a 14 and 16, so you can actually go down a size because this top actually fits me perfectly. So that's just a good little tip as well.
We will post that photo, as much as I hate photographs of myself, we will post the photo of me with it on later because I am a true, 14-ish.
And because it drapes, it sort of drapes over your body anyway, so it's really good. Now with the Sew Me Something patterns, if nobody has actually used these patterns before, Jules Fallon, who actually does come from Stratford-upon-Avon, I believe, she, and obviously that's Shakespeare country, all of her patterns are actually named after Shakespearean people actually within the plays. So this one is the peas bottom. Is it peas?
Peas blossom. We'll go with peas bottom.
First error. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Peas blossom.
Peas blossom.
Now, peas blossom, if nobody knows about Shakespeare, I mean, of course, I've read Shakespeare over and over again, you know.
It's my hometown, you know, Stratford-upon-Avon.
Is it? It's beautiful.
It is.
And here we go, look, is based in Stratford-upon-Avon, home of William Shakespeare. And to show our love for the bard, we have named our patterns after some of his heroines. Aww. Peas Bottom is from one of my favourite Shakespearean plays, A Midsummer Night's Dream. So whether any of us have not read Shakespeare or we have, I'm sure everybody has heard of Midsummer Night's Dream.
And there's a character called Bottom in it.
Yes,
so perhaps that's where the bottom in Peas Blossom keeps coming in, is that you're just amalgamating two characters and creating a new one.
Well, when my two sons, because I've got two sons, one's 40 next year. I know I had him when I was 10. So my son is 40 next year, the oldest one, and I've got another one that's 38, my two sons. And And when they were younger, they had to look at Shakespeare plays at school like you do. And of course, this character called Bottom, and it caused a lot of hilarious moments just because it was Bottom.
It will do.
Sorry about that. So Peasbottom is a handmaiden for Titania, Queen of the Fairies, a gentle and somewhat flighty soul.
Do you know, that rings a bell now? It's been years since I've watched it or read the book.
I mean, if you do watch Shakespeare plays, seriously, they're fantastic, really.
It's just an amazing experience, actually. Even for my husband, who'd never read any Shakespeare, because obviously me being at the grammar school in Stratford, we had that drummed into us through school. He'd been in a local school in countryside, and they'd done rural science, they had. So he'd never read any Shakespeare and said, I won't understand it. And I said, no, but you will. You don't. You kind of get to the point where the poetic language just goes over your head, but the acting's incredible, and you get it. You start just falling into that Shakespearean language.
Makes sense,
it's incredible.
even in today's times.
Yeah, and they just, at the Royal Shakespeare Company, they do an incredible job of just making it very relevant.
Yeah. Yes.
But they're a real experience.
Yeah.
We're going to do this, aren't we, Rachel?
I mean,
we're going to talk about things that just aren't relevant at all.
They're totally irrelevant. Yeah, absolutely. Talk about country bumpkin. I was brought up in the country as well.
Yeah.
So I was brung up like what you was.
Right, that's right. That is.
So Peasbottom is a handmaiden for Titania, Queen of the Fairies, a gentle and somewhat flighty soul. She is put in charge of looking after poor Nick Bottom, one of the lively mechanicals that the naughty Puck has made into a bit of an ass, and who is now the object of Queen Titania's passionate affections. So if you want to know any more, just watch the play.
It'll all be there.
Exactly.
It'll all be there.
Now, one good thing about Jules Fallon's patterns as well, they are very, very descriptive and really, really easy to follow.
She does a grand job.
So her first tip, which is also my tip, whenever you come to sewing, please don't be frightened, just relax about it. Sewing is meant to be fun. And as you can see, I'm a lot of fun, really, when I'm sewing.
It's important, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
It's either fun or other effing that takes place.
Exactly.
So we ought to choose the fun.
Everybody's done a sewing project, me included, that you think, do you know what, I can't really be bothered with this, and nearly out of the window it goes. So it can be frustrating, but that's when you need to walk away, then come back again.
Yes.
And you just finish the job.
Perhaps have a small gin.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes there is, and I said to
Jane, of course, I don't drink.
No.
That's why I'm pink in the face.
None of us
today.
do.
No, I actually went to the beach yesterday with my two grandsons, so I am very, very pink. So I look permanently embarrassed. So I'm terribly sorry about that.
You just look healthy.
Healthy.
It's a healthy glow.
Healthy.
There you go, healthy glow.
So another tip that she's got, which is also my big tip, is measure twice, cut once. Okay, it does save a lot of mistakes. I've made mistakes, I'm sure you've made mistakes, but you learn by your mistakes, and that's the most important thing. So as a lot of you know, I actually do sew a lot of wedding dresses, so that's where a lot of people know me from. So as you can imagine, when I'm hemming up a wedding dress, you don't just measure it once and then cut it off.
Crikey.
Oh my goodness, can you
imagine?
Oh.
I mean, I don't think I've got the nerves for such a responsibility as what you do.
So I do measure twice, and then no mistakes. Obviously, you cannot make a mistake with a wedding dress. Okay, so the next thing really on the pattern, just choose the pattern size nearest to your size. But if you are using jerseys, like I say, you can go down a size with Jules's patterns, which is absolutely fabulous because it makes you think thinner already.
So for the one that you've made here, that we've said is officially a 14 to 16, but it fit
I've cut
you
it out as a 16,
and
I'm normally a 16 to 18 if I was perfectly honest, because some ladies are bigger up top, bigger down bottom. We're all different shapes and sizes. So and I sort of tend to sort of think of myself as a, not a plus size. Well, I suppose I am a plus size, but
isn't everybody by the BMI scale?
But you don't have to be frightened
building.
of that,
No.
and to stop yourself from sewing.
But
So-
the fabric requirements then, a
Is-
couple of metres
yeah.
is going to do
I'll
the
read
job
out-
and leave leftovers.
Shall I read out the
Yes,
fabric
please. Shall I pop it on
requirements,
the
Gemma?
overhead so that we can see that
Yeah.
as well? There we go. You'll have the overhead camera there.
How
there
about
we
that?
are. Oh, that we can go into close-up. It's up to you.
Will
If
it
we
go
do
into
close-up,
close-up?
it'll be in front of the sewing machine, so you'll need to hold it up against the sewing machine. So if I show you,
Yep.
you'll see. If you turn it round so it stands up next to the sewing machine, then anything that goes this way, if you turn it round,
That way.
so it's that camera there. Can you see? If you turn it round.
Oh yeah, I can see what you mean about the left hand and right hand. Oh,
Yep,
no,
turn it
I'm
round
going-
that way and up.
and up like that. You
There
show
you
me,
go.
Gemma.
There
Ah!
you are.
I
If we
knew
need
that
a
all the
close-up
way
view,
along. I knew
there
that
we
all the
are.
way along.
Perfect.
So you can see the fabric there. Now I used 1.7 meters of fabric. That goes up to a size 18. For size 20 and 22, it's 1.8 meters. Now this is for version 1, so that is for the cowl neck. And that is where it doesn't matter if it's a 45 inch or 114 centimetres wide or 140 centimetres 60 inches wide. It's exactly the same, 1.7 or 1.8. If you want the smaller sizes, 8 to 12, it's 1.5 metres
Yeah.
in either width.
And we've loaded these by the half metre so that you have got the option to buy a metre and a half rather than 1 metre or 2.
Yes, yes.
You know, but that option's there
Yeah.
as well.
So it's really good, you know, a lot of fabric, and it's cheaper as well, isn't it? It makes it much more cost effective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, with this top, it just comes in 3 pieces. That's it, 3
Oh
pieces.
wow, we like that.
There is no pattern markings. If some of you have seen patterns and you feel very daunted because there's arrows everywhere and dots everywhere, and you think, what am I going to do with
Yeah.
that? With this pattern, there is none, okay? The only pattern marking that you could consider as a pattern marking is where it says centre back.
Okay.
Now, when you have a pattern marking where you have 2 arrows pointing that way and a straight line, it means you have to put it on the fold of the fabric, which means that the front and the back is all in one, so you haven't got a seam going down the middle.
Oh wow. Okay, good.
So as you can
Amazing.
see, this is the back. So as you can see, it's all one piece. You can see the neckline there. I've only just got that pinned on it to show you how to do the facing on the neck.
Okay.
And then you've got your, oh, I've still got a pin left in there.
They get everywhere, don't
They
they?
do, especially in my house. Then the front of it does look a bit peculiar, but don't be put off, because I will show you exactly how to put this together. And this is the front of the pattern.
Okay.
So as you can see, you've got just a very slight curve with a sort of a funny shape on the corner.
Shall I go to the front view
Yeah.
and we'll see what we
on the corner.
and you can lift it up then and have a little.
But the curved piece there is the bit that goes down inside of here,
Yeah.
right?
So that you can't see the raw edge.
It's called
Yeah.
self-facing, basically.
Okay.
So you don't have any stitching on the outside. It's just folded in nicely,
Amazing.
and it looks really nice. I've chose the rabbits because I do like rabbits.
Oh, me too. Me too. I have to
So,
say, actually, you know,
I'd
you're
wear
explaining
this.
these pieces. Yeah, for sure.
you?
Yeah, for sure.
I'd
They look
wear
great
it.
with a pair of jeans, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Pair of jeans and a nice little pair of ballet pumps.
Oh.
I'm all about the flats. Ballet pumps or
I know.
flip-flops for me. I might be 5 foot and a fag end tall, but seriously, I can't be doing with heels.
Well, I'm about between a 5'4" and a 5'5",
Oh,
but
okay.
even I can get
You're
away
a
with
giant.
I know.
Positive giant next to me,
that. There
Rachel.
you go, you see. They used to make them my size, but they don't anymore. They seem to be a lot taller, don't they? Do you find that with your daughter?
Well, Meg's 5'6", you know.
There you go, you see.
I know.
And we're all
I thought
saying,
to
where
have a
did they
dinky
get
dot
that
of a
from?
child, but yeah, well, exactly.
So what I'm going to show you, this is the back piece.
Right, I'll go above.
So
and we
you
can
can
see that
see,
from there.
I'm just going to unpin that a minute because that's a little separate piece.
Okay.
Okay. So there is a little pattern piece for the neck facing. So, and this will actually fold round. So this is why we need the tape. This from elastic tape we use, as per the pattern, you can put on the shoulders. However, you can also use dressmaker's tape, like you've said. You can also use that, because with jersey, it's all about stabilising it in order to make it easier to sew.
Sure.
All right. So first of all, I'm going to sew on this little piece here.
Yeah.
So you have right sides together. Okay. So, and the pattern also tells you just to lip it over the edge, just very slightly. There is a reason for doing that. It just falls into place a little bit better. So I'm just going to pin that on the end. Now what I always do as well with jersey fabric, I pin it on each end first.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And let the middle fall in.
That's right.
Yeah, amazing.
You can iron it in the middle and then find the middle piece. It all depends on how you sort of feel.
Okay.
But generally it does actually fall into place. I'll just...
Those hairs are so cute, aren't they?
I think
are
they're
hairs
gorgeous.
rather than rabbits, you know.
Now, as I've done there, it just shows you how easy that is. If you've got fabric that does sort of tend to curl,
Yes.
as I did there by mistake, I actually put the wrong side to the right side. But hey ho,
This is
no
why
hassle.
we pin and check and pin
No
and
hassle.
check, isn't it?
So then you're going to find out more or less halfway across, and then put another pin in there.
Lovely.
And then you will find, because it stretches, you'll be able to see more or less where the middle bit is there.
Does the job for you really then?
It does, yeah.
Fabulous.
It does.
Just having a look, there's been an absolute flurry of activity on Facebook this morning.
Is there?
Yeah, my brother's watching, or he was. He's probably now gone, oh no, I'm not watching anymore. I've heard her talk for a minute and a half and I'm done, and he's probably popped off again, but that's fine. But oh bless, I've got lots of people saying, Gemma, you're a natural. Why have you been hiding for so long?
Wow, see?
Well, I mean, Tasha's been on at me for ages. We did have an interview at Christmas and I was like, yep, that's enough, thank you, job done. Yeah. I'm always just so busy trying to keep her in check, to be honest. She's a busy lady and she's got a lot of organising that has to be done in the background. So Kirsty says, I love this top. I made the round neck version in a brushed cotton.
Lovely.
As a PJ top.
Oh,
that
lovely.
Sounds rather divine, doesn't it? It's lovely. I've been thinking about the cowl neck one, so this demo has come at the perfect time. Well, I'm really glad about that,
Lovely.
Kirsty. Ali Barton reckons that Natasha will be having more times off. Loving your nails and makeup, by the way. Well, if I haven't worked in the beauty industry for 18 years for a reason. John Cole Morgan, I think, has gone to raid the clearance page.
Oh.
Oh, he's put, I've just found all
like
the clearance
me, though.
items.
You walk in somewhere with loads of fabrics, like a little sweetie shop for me. And if we go away anywhere and I find a fabric shop, I say to Gary, I just want to pop in there. Pop being the operative word. I just want to pop in there, Gary.
No.
Just have a look at the fabrics. And he says, well, don't spend ages in there.
No, you see,
And
my
then
husband's
hour
got to it
later, I
now.
come back out again.
He knows. My husband actually suggests places. We've got a little vintage caravan, Rachel, and he suggests places for us to go on holiday on the basis that there are little fabric shops nearby that I might want to look at. And so long as I get him, I'm just going to pop the camera around onto close-up so we can see what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Gemma.
No, it's fine.
We're such chatterboxes, me and Gemma.
We'll do this.
And we promised Natasha that we'd make something whilst we were here.
You know, actually show people what they should do.
We'd make something.
I know. Well, we will make something.
Now, with jersey fabrics as well, you can overlock it all the way through, apart from this neck bit. Now, I did bring my overlocker, didn't I, Gemma?
You did.
Because I'm so honest, I have to say to people, unfortunately, it stopped working this morning. So I'm going to show you.
That was one of our technical challenges,
It was a
wasn't
little bit. So
there's a little button you can press to take the foot up and down at the front if you want as well. So,
yes.
foot
Now,
up, foot down.
with jersey fabric, you choose a stitch, which is what they call the lightning stitch. So with jersey, especially around the necks or armholes, you must use a stretch stitch, because if you use a straight stitch, as soon as you stretch it, it will ping. The thread will just break.
Of course.
So obviously you don't want that happening.
So it's the one that looks like Harry Potter's scar, that lightning.
Yeah,
okay.
it is. That's it. It's sort of like a slanted zigzag.
Oh, hang on, I need to turn the camera around so that you can do that. And the camera's just here. So if you show the lightning straight with your finger, like that shape. She was doing this for us and I thought, that's no good. I'm on close up for you. You can't see her do a lightning
it's
bolt.
like a zigzag. It's like a zigzag stitch that's
Yeah.
had a few too many gins and it's just slanting down.
Perfect.
So
We're all about the gin in here.
So I'm going to actually stitch now. Hooray. Now with jersey
Hurrah.
fabrics as well, usually you can get away with 3/8 of an inch.
Oh, okay.
I go by inches, unfortunately.
No, that's
but
fine. A lot of us
3/8
are
of an
quilters.
inch,
Yeah.
seam allowance. Okay, that is quite usual with jersey fabrics, whereas normally with woven fabrics, you'd probably go to 1.5 centimetres or 5/8 in the old money. So if you are using a woven fabric, it's very good to remember that, because quite a few woven fabrics you would have 5/8 of an inch, which would be too much. Okay.
Okay. Top tips, everyone. Top tips.
There you
We
go.
love all
You
this.
see, Rachel's tips. This is what I call this is what I tell my bridal customers when they come in. There we
So
go.
you've been sewing from a really young age, haven't you, Rachel?
I have, yes, but I didn't turn professional till, until probably about 3 years ago. But I've always sewn, and I've made umpteen wedding dresses.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a lot of work involved in a wedding dress.
Of course.
So I was making it for friends and families and that sort of thing, without realising that I was actually giving away a really good skill for nothing at all.
Yeah.
Not that you mind for your family, of course.
No, but you had the experience then as well, didn't
yeah.
you? You cut your teeth on
Yeah.
your family and friends.
Well,
and then...
I mean, Natasha knows my mum taught me, because as
Yeah.
a child I was adopted. So I went to my mum and dad when I was 8 months old. And it was a bit like a Heidi story, really. I arrived on the train with the social worker, as it was then. I was born in Wales, with all the clothes that I owned on.
Oh, Rachel! Wow.
Yeah, that was true.
Wow. And you were just the most amazing blessing for your family.
I know.
What an incredible gift you were.
And of course, when mum and dad, my adoptive parents, and I couldn't have had better adoptive parents, in those days, children weren't really, they were fed, put back down in the pram. You didn't get this sort of play that you do with, so I didn't really know how to play. At 8 months old. I didn't know how to do anything or sit up or anything. And my feet were like this. They were out like this, where I was,
We're on the view of
my feet were like this, where I'd been laid down in the pram. So mum and dad had to sort of exercise it, and until they sort of loosened up. And but that was then in those days, which was a lot different.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
your mum was a seamstress.
She was, and she was actually an apprentice of a wedding dress shop.
Yeah, amazing.
So you can understand where I got my skills from.
Absolutely.
And obviously growing up, you don't realise what you're actually learning.
No, but to be around that clearly inspired you, didn't it?
And my dad was always very musical. So growing up, my two sisters, who were their own daughters, learnt the piano. So we had this piano in our hall. It was a huge hallway.
Yeah.
And so of course I learnt how to play the piano.
Yeah.
Or is that clear enough? Is
I
it,
might
Gemma?
just move the machine ever so slightly.
Yeah, you'd go ahead.
Wait till you've stepped aside. We're doing this whole distancing thing, aren't we? We're doing it beautifully.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to move it ever so slightly, I think. There we go. Do you think that's going to be a bit better?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Let's do that. Your beautiful nails, however, will be much admired, like mine were, I think, because yours are looking lovely.
Thank you, Karen from Bradenstow.
Marvellous.
Where I live. In our little lot of villages, you see, they have various people that can do things like your nail lady, hairdressers, dressmaker, all sorts of things,
Yeah.
plumber, electrician.
Got to use local services where you can, haven't you, and support each
Absolutely.
other, especially through the pandemic. There's been a
Yeah.
lot of people really struggle. The
Absolutely.
beauty industry's been really hard hit, being close contact, of course, so it's lovely to support people. Ali Barton has said, I'm plus size 22 with my COVID curves. I
Yes.
like the word COVID curves. It was referred to as lockdown large to start with, and I went, no, and no, because I too have put on the COVID curves.
Yes,
She
who
says, do I care?
hasn't?
She said, but I care, especially when all the lovely fashion clothes stop at a 20. I can wear
Yes.
some 18s, but I don't like my clothes too tight.
Yeah.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about dressmaking, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
that you can make
Yeah.
things that will fit you. And I know Jenny Taylor, you know, Jennifer Taylor comes in and does dressmaking for us, and she's done that before, and she'll always say, you just make the clothes for you. Don't get in
absolutely.
a tiz about your figure. Just make
just
clothes
make it.
that you love, that
Yep.
fit you. And it does so much for your self-esteem, not to mention your comfort as well.
Absolutely.
Oh,
the thing is-
Geraldine's got us on the big telly. And there's a few
Oh.
people saying, just bear in mind, Rachel, that we are in front of you. So the where they can see you from the front is this big camera here. So look this way. There we go. Give everyone a wave. That's the camera. They're like, Rachel, love, we're over here. We've got 3 cameras, ladies and gents. It gets quite confusing to know which one to look into, but there we go. When we're looking at your face, that's the one that they can see you in.
There we go. So what I've done here is, as you can see, I've stitched right sides together for the binding.
Yeah.
And so when you get to the other side, now what I do is I prefer to stitch in the ditch, which I have done
Okay.
on my sample. So where I've got the pins in the other side, I will then put another set of pins in the other side,
Okay.
which is
Put it
just
overhead.
literally right on the...
Let's see if people can see from the top what you're doing. And if not, we'll go close up and you can hold it in front of the machine like
So
you
if
did
you
with
can
the
see my
pattern.
pins that I'm putting in
Yeah.
are right by the seam.
What I might get you to do, Rachel, is just hold it up in front of the sewing machine like we did before with the pattern. And if you just, you know, it's up, down, left, right until you find the right point. There we are. Can you see? Down a little bit, down a little bit. There.
Ah.
Aha. See, you get the hang
All
of
right.
the cameras after a while.
So you can see that red pin there. I've put it in right on the seam
Marvellous.
on the opposite side, because then
Lovely.
you can stitch in the ditch, which I will show you how that's done if anyone hasn't actually done that before. Again, it does seem a bit scary, but it's not really.
No.
It's there to stabilise and neaten.
So my mother-in-law spent many years making curtains and working in a haberdashery, and she's an amazing sewer, whatever we want to call ourselves these days. Everyone seems to have a different name. But I've had conversations with her before, and she's like, just do it. It's only fabric.
Exactly.
It doesn't bite.
Exactly.
You know, and that's part of the reason we've put the jerseys on a deal today,
Yeah.
and that there are lower priced options as
Yeah.
well, so that you can buy something, have a
Yeah,
go,
just
make a toile,
something simple. Yeah.
and then, you know, buy a couple of options
Quite-
maybe to make your
Quite
first
a lot
go.
of
and
people
second.
do make what they call a toile, which is
Yeah.
obviously
A mock-up.
a mock-up,
Yeah.
yeah, basically a mock-up version of what you're going to end up making. But so it is quite important that you actually mock it up in the same fabric that you're
Yeah.
going to have the end result
Yeah.
in, because then you'll get the perfect fit.
Absolutely.
Now I'm just going to show that up there.
There we go. We've got the hang of this now, Rachel. Look at us too.
All
Look
right,
at us
so
go.
you can see the pins going all the way down.
You can.
So I'm going to just pop it onto the machine,
Okay.
and I'm going to change this to a straight stitch.
Okay. You all
Okay.
right with that? Are we there? Good.
So this is my straight stitch.
Best laid plans and all that. We thought
Absolutely.
Rachel will have her own machine with her, and she'll be able to, you know. And then the overlocker wasn't playing ball, was it?
It
But it
was
does mean
not
we get to
playing
play with the
ball
NX.
at all.
We love the NX, and we get to have a play with it. So what's not to love?
This
Geraldine
seems
is
to drop
struggling. Oh, we've got
A little
tangle.
bit entangled.
All right. You all right with it?
Yes.
I will hover. Geraldine seems to be having trouble finding our clearance page. We can't have that, Geraldine. So if you go to the front page of the Natasha Makes website and you hover over the word shop, on the left-hand side where you're all used to finding the deals page, don't tell me you're not, because I know you all are, straight underneath deals, between deals and half metre heavens, is a page that says fabric clearance. So have a little look in there. Lynn Tuitt says, just joined you. It's great to see you back on our screens, Rachel. I'm guessing Natasha is busy doing other things this morning. Lovely to have you hosting, Gemma. Aww. Lynn, that's very lovely.
I've missed everyone too.
Well, there you go, you see.
Obviously,
come to play
people
with us
also
now.
know certain story that my lovely husband had a stroke last August. So he's struggled with it, but he's absolutely fine. And anybody that knows somebody that's had a stroke, it just takes a lot of time to sort of get better.
It does.
But he's absolutely fabulous, really. He really is.
Good.
He's here in the next room.
He is. We've set him up in his own room on his own.
Watching the Olympics.
Comfort. I know, he's not watching us.
No.
He's watching the Olympics.
I know.
He's not watching us.
I know. I think he watches me enough. So
no, it's,
what
it's
I've done,
thing,
sorry, Gemma.
No, it's a hard old thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's doing really well, which
And
is great.
sometimes he says to me, I find it very hard to watch you, Rachel, he said, because he said, if you made a mistake, he said, I'd be going, like that. So there's that to it as well. And I'm sure we'd all feel the same.
No, that's good.
So what I've done here on the machine, I've actually put the needle down right on the seam that we've made.
Okay.
On the edge of the facing. So
Marvellous.
the best thing to do is to keep it on slow if you've never done this before.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady. So I'm just going to...
Oh, we've had a comment here for you, I believe, to say, so lovely to see you doing what you love and what you do so well.
Thank you very much. I do love it. That's the thing. I do love it.
Lisa Bolt, I think this is a brilliant name to have when she's asking this question. I use the triple stitch for jersey. Is that okay? I've never used the lightning one. But to be talking lightning when her surname is Bolt.
Well, triple stitch. I mean, I might be wrong here. I mean, because I think you can use it instead of just the lightning. I think it's just down to personal preference. I prefer to use the lightning stitch.
Yeah.
But if it works for you, I say, I'm standing up here recommending things.
Sure.
But I may, we all
Everyone
do
has
things in a
different way.
different way. So use what you feel easiest to do.
But that movement in the stitch is what allows the stitches not to snap,
That's
I guess.
right. If it's a straight stitch at all, and especially if you imagine if you're making a round neck and you try and put it over your head, it's going to stretch, and then you're going to waste all of that time that you've actually made that garment because it's just going to split.
Absolutely.
So so that's why I tend to use the stretch stitch.
And there is so much to learn, isn't there? It's,
yes. But it's like I said before, it's having the right tools.
Yeah, for sure.
Ah, it's going backwards. Why is that?
Ah, that's always good fun, isn't it? What have we pressed? Is it in reverse?
Is it in reverse?
Run the top. Is it saying here, return the upper feed dog to its original position? I'm going to do that thing of turning it off and turning it back on again in a minute if it doesn't behave.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's have a look to see with this. No, it's going backwards.
If in doubt, ladies and gents, we always turn it off and turn it back on again, don't we? I've done that a few times.
It might be a good idea.
Well, it just turns
I didn't put it on reverse, did I?
I don't think so, but let's reset it.
Ah, I've just seen on here, number 11, and it's got an arrow going that way, so I think that's why. See?
Well, let's go front view for a minute while we're having a little sort.
Right, so let's choose this again.
Okay, let it wake up. Just press the screen where the little green tick is. There we go, just on there.
It doesn't like my fingers. Ah, right. So let's
Great
choose.
stuff. Do you need a little scrap just to check it's not done anything strange?
I think
I don't know whether this was yours as well.
I do think I chose the wrong one before, so I think this must be it.
Well, we're about to find out, Rachel, aren't we?
We are.
Sure. Okay, let me get into the close-up view so I can see what you're doing. So you saying about necklines as well, Rachel, with a jersey. I watched a brilliant tutorial.
Yay!
And, hooray! Brilliant tutorial with Jennifer Taylor. She's done this, it's about 45 minutes long for Fleecelina. Do you know we had Janet in and we had to learn how to say this properly? Fleecelina, Freudenberg UK. And it just showed you really quickly all of the different tapes and what they're used for.
Yeah.
And the seam tape flexible, the T15, the one I showed earlier, that first one, she was saying that's really good for a neckline where you want some stretch so that you can pull it and get it over your head.
Yeah, that's right. But it still stabilises
Yes.
it and stretches at the same time.
Yes. There's just so much to learn. I think we will try and get that tutorial that she did popped onto our website later, just because she literally just gets different pieces of fabric, a piece of woven and a piece of jersey, and just uses the different tapes and explains what they're all for, because they are interchangeable to a degree.
Yeah.
So knowing which one to choose for the exact job you want it for can be a little bit difficult, can't it, when you're not quite so experienced in these things.
But I think with the proper projects, like
one of us is starting to
Vissalina,
crackle apparently.
it brings your sewing up to the next level.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and this is the thing I kind of gleaned from it, is if you have got a fabric that's trying to flute or warp when you're stitching it, or that just naturally wants to curve, popping some of these tapes on, it won't change the properties of your jersey, but it will just give it that stability that when you're sewing, it behaves.
Well, and as well as that, with jersey, what can happen if you don't have a stabiliser on behind, it can just simply swallow your fabric up in the machine.
Absolutely. I've got notes on here saying our mics are crackling. I'm wondering whether it's my hair that is brushing against my mic, because we changed batteries before we started. Perhaps Josh is listening and can tell me and do a little mic check for me.
Right. I seem to have a problem here.
I mean, Rachel, from the very moment we started this morning, there was, before we even started,
it was
there were
one
tech
of those
issues,
mornings.
So if we don't have a problem, then
But am I phased? No.
No, let's go front view to see your very unfazed face, shall we? Not phased at all. No, it's only sewing. It's all fine.
So I'm going to rethread that now. I've just checked to make sure we have threaded it properly.
So Elizabeth Crangle's got a question for you. She says, do you make a 12 for wedding dresses, Rachel, or do you just do large seam allowances?
No, I would always make a toile of the top part of the wedding dress. Okay, with the bodice, because obviously the fitting of the, of the bust line.
Yeah.
Plus also it usually involves boning. So if you've got boning going through it, once you've put that in, and you have to unpick something like that, sometimes it just doesn't go back the same way. But also you've got to, sew your dresses in a really timely manner. So I'm sorry about this, folks, but I'm just going to quickly pin this round again.
That's all right. We can chat for a bit. And we've got loads of messages and we've not read hardly any of them. So let's do that. Ali B says, I'll have a go at everything else, even reupholstering, but I'm afraid of making my own clothes. And I hear this a lot, but if you can be so precise as to reupholster something fabulous, then I'm fairly sure. Dressmaking with jersey, where I'm told, as much as I've only ever used wovens, that jersey, as long as you know what you're doing with it, is an easier thing to work with, because you've got stretch and movement in the fabric. So
I think what it is, when we've heard people sewing with jerseys before, I think all we're listening to is, be careful about this and don't do that, or you've got to be very careful about this. So we get the messages, I don't think I'll touch jersey, that's too difficult. But what you have to do is just say, when you sew with jersey, do this and it'll be fine. So don't be frightened.
Every time something doesn't go as planned, it's a learning opportunity. And I say this in every area of life. It's so important. So we've had a mention of your Gary earlier. Gary doesn't know that the Makes audience like to be shown what not to do when things go wrong.
No, exactly. But I'm all for that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Is
Absolutely.
she saying that she doesn't like me saying that?
No, it's fine. We're quite happy for things to go wrong. This is what we do here. We do warts and all, Rachel, and frequently we do this.
Well, I think if people know that it goes wrong occasionally, and I get things wrong, and mistakes are made, but it's how you put it right.
Sometimes it's in your control and sometimes it's not. But
Absolutely.
Knowing how to put things right is really valuable. And if we demonstrate something, I've said this with beauty over the years as well, you know, with nails and things, you can get the product not set properly and all
Yeah.
sorts of things. If I don't show my students what to do when things go wrong,
Yeah.
then they don't know, they don't learn anything. Whereas if they see me do it and go, whoops, that didn't turn out as planned, then, you know, it's an opportunity then that they, well, they don't have to make the mistake because I've done it for them as well.
We all learn by mistakes, and I think it's very, very important, actually, if it doesn't sound silly, that we do make mistakes, because then we learn from them. Nobody turns to anything without making a single mistake, but it's how you deal with that mistake and turn it into a positive.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Josh is saying, I think it's one of the wires going from the mic to the pack when you move. Joshua, right, this is me moving then, isn't it? I'm going to put my mic pack on the front of my jeans in case my jacket
Oh,
is
this is
manoeuvring
better.
the wire at the back. There we go.
This is betterer.
Better.
Yeah, this is betterer. See, I told you it's like what I was brung up.
You've been brung up proper, you have.
I have.
Oh no, you can't say that, Ali. Ali said, you sounded so like Natasha then, Gemma. Right. Let's set this straight, shall we? We are two different people. She's a clear foot taller than me for a start, but we have small similarities. Small. No, she's far more fabulous than I am. Where are we? What a lovely unfazed face you had there, Rachel. Pam liked your unfazed face. And Kath says, you're doing brilliantly, Rachel, watching as we travel to the caravan at Ashley Heath.
Ashley Heath. That's where my sister lives.
Is this Kath Deverell who said
Oh,
this?
yes, she comes down because she's shown me pictures of Christchurch, which is where we were yesterday, Kath, on the beach hut at Avon Beach.
Lovely.
And so she's in Ashley Heath. That's where my sister lives. She's got a bungalow there.
okay.
Yeah.
So you have a studio. Is it at home? You're
No.
sewing studio, or is-
Because of the number of wedding dresses that obviously I have, I need a sort of obviously a professional setup and for ladies to come in and be measured. And sometimes when I used to be really, really busy, it's starting to build up again now. But I'm not taking on as many as I did because obviously Gary still needs my help to a certain extent. So
and work-life balance as well, Rachel. It's
I
sensible,
think so, you know, but I know all the dresses are safe in there. I've got my proper work set up with my machines and a rail with all the wedding dresses on. So now I've actually sewn this in the ditch. So I'm just going to put this up on the machine again. If you can just see that, so you can see the stitching.
You can.
Going all the way up, but it just neatens it, and it's neatened inside. Now, inside you can actually overlock that just to neaten the thing, but with jerseys you don't actually have to neaten them quite often because they just don't fray.
Well, that's useful, isn't it?
So you can pink and shear them, you can overlock them, you can zigzag them, or you can just leave them plain.
Yeah.
Now you can get certain, I mean, these jerseys are beautiful here.
Good. I'm glad you think
but
so.
it's still classed as a jersey with the scuba knits.
Oh, okay.
You know, this sort of got a lot more.
Yeah.
I don't mean
See a lot of dresses in
scuba diving outfits
no,
or anything, but
I've seen it.
they're sort of like scuba knits.
I think you'd make one of those dresses out of, what do they call them? The tight-fitting dresses.
Yes.
You know the ones I mean.
Yes.
Bodycon.
Bodycon.
They make bodycon dresses out of them.
I wear
don't
them
they?
all the time.
Oh, me too. Why wouldn't we? Show off the COVID curse. It's all fine. Me bodycon dress. I can't be bothered, Rachel, to be honest, to be in anything that tight and restrictive.
Nor can I.
Should we go overhead so we can see your top?
Right, so
from
what
the
we're
top?
going to do now, I've just
we
laid
go.
the back out again. Now what I would suggest you do is that you press this as you go along and it just neatens it up. Okay.
Do you know, it would be great, wouldn't it, if I hadn't turned the iron off because I didn't want it beeping. But yeah, if you just want to flick the little switch on
Shall
the
I
floor.
switch it back
Yeah,
on?
I'll show you which one it is. So it's there.
Is
You
it the
go.
second one in?
Yeah. The red light
And we
came
do
on. That's
have
always
an
a good
ironing
sign.
mat here as well.
We do, a pressing mat. One of our Natasha makes pressing mats. That's another thing I did, which was a little bit naughty. So I put a really fantastic deal on the pressing mat with a bottle of flatter as well. So these wool pressing mats.
Is this the flatter on there?
Yeah.
Shall I use it?
Well, we use it for quilting. It's like a starch spray, but it's not starch. It's brilliant. But these pressing mats are amazing. You get a really nice crisp press. If you want to pop it, well, you can press under the camera, or you can pop it to the side.
So I'm just going to give it a really, 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 oh, you can see the difference actually after I've just done that.
Yeah, so very quick going over.
So it just neatens it up and just flattens it up, ready for the next bit.
Okay.
So, with the right sides together, we're going to be joining the shoulders together. Here's the shoulders. And this is where our fram elastic comes in.
Oh, let's go to the front and you can see. Oh, you've got it there anyway now.
That's where this comes in.
You're speedy. Change the camera angles. There we go.
There's no messing with me, you know.
I know. It's like trying to keep up with Jane. She moves so fast. Tash said to me, you have to predict which way Jane's going to go and just press the button quick before she moves.
So if you remember, we have got like a curved piece at the top, which is going to be the self-facing for the cowl neck.
Yes.
So we've got right sides together. So this is your shoulders.
Yep.
So I'm just going to pin the shoulders and then I'll show you how to use the fram elastic, okay?
Says here, there's no such thing as a mistake, just a learning experience.
Absolutely.
I live by that.
Who said that?
Fiona Greenslade.
Absolutely.
Wise words
Fiona.
indeed.
Like I say, if none of us learnt by our mistakes, then we'd keep on making mistakes, wouldn't we?
Absolutely. And Elizabeth Crangle, who is always wise and has words of wisdom for us.
Oh, she is. She's
love
lovely, Elizabeth.
Yeah. She says, jersey are more easy to get the fit as a newbie, and they have give unlike a woven. And this is the thing I see a lot, you know, is that I've seen people with their first few makes, it's been things like leggings for a baby or whatever, or for a small child. They'll have a go at making a pair of leggings, and it's a really good...
Fabulous.
I'd say this top would probably be easier than trying to make a pair of leggings to start with, though, wouldn't it?
Because there's no real shaping to it.
Yeah.
The fabric itself does its own shaping.
Ali Barton says, I was born and bred in Devon and I love hearing Rachel's accent. I've lived in Staffordshire Moorland for 40 years now and only get to use my accent when I speak to my cousins in Paynton. Love the accent
I was
too.
actually brought up in Dorset, you know, and but as the years go past, you sort of lose your accent a little bit, don't you? But certain things people notice when I say my R's, I sort of still roll my R's.
Love it. Love it. I love an accent.
Oh, so do I.
Well, my family are from, well, my mum's side are from Yorkshire. So there's some brilliant accents on that side. Yeah, we're all about the accents here. Oh, this looks like it's coming together nicely.
So this is the second shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh.
And did you say you were going to use the fram elastic in the shoulder?
I certainly am, yes. So what I'm going to do, I'm purely doing this for the ease of people that are very worried about using things. So I'm going to do it the simple way.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a seasoned sewer and, you know, and you're not nervous at all, you can actually hold the fram elastic and actually sew it whilst you're moving the fabric.
Okay.
But it can get very slippery.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just going to do it so that people will think, oh yeah, I can do that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because obviously once you've all made your tops, I'd love to see it on Natasha Makes as well.
I really hope so. So on our website, we do have a section that you can upload your photographs, and we really love to see them. So if you go to that main page, on the top bar there, we have got one that says Community Makes. And yeah, you can upload your pictures. And we do like to see them. If you haven't had a look yourselves, actually, go and have a look. It's fab.
Right,
Oh, it's
so
all calm now, Rachel. This is all good.
Calm.
After the initial chaos and craziness that was.
Do I make people feel calm? I do hope so.
I think so.
I do hope so.
That's good.
Right, so I'm going to sew sew the shoulders now, again using the stretch stitch. Okay,
that lightning stitch.
The lightning stitch.
Elizabeth Crangle says she wiggles her hips, not rolls her R's.
Oh, that's a new one, Elizabeth.
Oh no. Elizabeth, I'm trying not to swear, so do not try and entice me into such shenanigans. Actually, oh dear. No, I mustn't say anything naughty. You nearly got me to say it then. If I'd have said it wrongly, that would have been not
You
good.
turned me even redder than what I am now.
Oh, Cass says, it took me years to get the hang of my father-in-law's heavy Dublin accent coming from a long line of
Yeah.
Australians. It completely
Oh,
baffled
yeah.
me. These days, I don't even hear it. I had to go to work for to Dublin, and luckily I've got a friend who lived there for many, many, many years. She was Dublin born and bred, and she lives out in the countryside now, but she travelled the nearly 3 hours to Dublin to do some sightseeing, and this was a few years ago now. We did some fabulous sightseeing, and she was fortunately with me, because when there is someone with a thick accent, I couldn't understand them, and I try my best.
Well, do you know, years and years
It was
ago,
great.
a friend of mine, he's very, very broad Irish, and but I mean, they're so softly spoken. He's absolutely lovely man. But I couldn't understand what he was saying, because he was sort of like that, and I thought. But I used to sit there thinking, oh no, please don't talk to me. Please don't talk to me, because I don't know what to say back.
Aww.
And he used to talk to me, and I used to be going, yes.
I love the
Yes.
accent.
Oh no! I have to try and read his expressions.
Just a
you know.
nod. I love the accent. I absolutely adore it, and it's really.
So do I.
I just could listen to her all day long. My
It's
friend.
very lulling.
Yeah, and I've got a Welsh friend, and it's the same. I absolutely adore her accent. But when they go too fast, sometimes I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Reverse.
But you don't want to
Reverse.
say. Can you say that again, please?
I know. Oh, I do now. I don't worry about being impolite. I'd rather just admit it and move on. Oh dear.
So this is the one shoulder I've done.
Oh, let's switch. Should we go overhead? We can see it from the
So
top.
shall I do the next shoulder, and then I'll show you how I put the fram elastic
Oh
on,
yeah, why not? Let's do that.
because it would be lovely to sort of think I could finish the top.
Yes. Well, that's the beauty
Actually,
of Natasha Makes.
on
Is I'm
air.
not going to rush you off air after 55 minutes.
Hey,
It's not what we do around here. We like a good chat.
it's just nice for people to sort of see it from start to finish. They're not just seeing bits and bobs, and they think, actually I can do that. I think it's fabulous.
Definitely, definitely. We don't like a rush demo. Take our time and see things done properly. Geraldine says, Rachel, your wedding dresses on Facebook are beautiful, and so
Thank
glad
you.
that Gary is doing well as well.
Ah, thank
Send you
you.
hugs and lovely emojis and
I
things.
might bring. Who would like to see Gary? See if I can bring him in just to say
Aw,
hi.
Yeah, at the
behind
end.
me.
We could see if he can be
Yeah,
dragged
there's
away.
enough people that'd like to see him. I'll bring him in.
Oh, Ali's got my affliction. So she says here, I'm terrible at mimicking accents. When I visit friends in Scotland,
Yeah,
I end up
Scottish is
speaking
another one.
Scottish. I am awful, especially if I've had a little gin, a small
Yeah.
drink. I will pick up anybody's accent and I will roll with it. That's the iron before you worry about the beeping.
Ah.
There's nothing technical. We haven't broken the internet.
I thought that was the coffee machine just got
no,
ready.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. Mine's empty too. That lovely cold coffee I drank. Oh, Geraldine says the Liverpool accent can be very fast and I can't understand it sometimes, and I am a Liverpudlian. Oh dear. Well, if you don't understand them, we've got no chance at all. None whatsoever. Oh gosh.
There we go.
So a lot of the Fleecelina tapes, I'm going to keep going on about this, but I just wrote loads of notes and was like,
Yeah.
wow, I've learned stuff. I'm a
But
bit
there's
of
a lot of
sponge.
crossovers, isn't there? You sort of
Yeah.
learn it can be used for all sorts of things.
Well, that's the thing. So I thought it would be a case that this one is for this and that one is for that and that's your lot. You know, that is how it is. However, what I learnt was a lot of the tapes can be used on stretch and woven, but you just need to know what you want it to do. So if you use a more structured tape on a stretch fabric, you're going to take away the stretch. And it was very, very interesting. I'm really sorry if everyone else isn't as interested as I am in all of that, but I just thought it was fabulous.
This is the fram elastic that that Natasha actually did send me to make my sample, so I'm not opening up a brand new packet.
Oh,
so none of you will receive anything, and it's got
fine.
only half the amount
that
in there or
doesn't happen
something.
anyway. We add a lot of things to this stuff, so we'll go to overhead so people can see the fram elastic.
So basically what you do, if you lay your shoulder seam down, and then you just simply place the fram elastic, don't stretch it, just lay it across there, and just snip it off. Now what this does, it actually stabilises the seam, and it's see-through so you can see what you're doing. So what I do is I lay it over the seam.
Let me move it to close-up so people can see. There we go. Need to come down a little bit, I think, Rach.
I think my hands are in the way.
There we are.
So if you can see the fram elastic,
I mean, it would be transparent, wouldn't it?
it would,
We
yes,
need to
but it
paint
makes
red or something.
well, it makes it easier actually, because I use a lot of this on wedding dresses.
Oh, okay.
A lot of it. The main parts that I use on wedding dresses is round the sleeves.
Okay.
And it just keeps the sleeves on the shoulders.
Nice.
Or if you've got a jacket, a bridal jacket, that especially if it's sort of like a boat neck,
Right.
then it keeps it there.
Yeah.
Rather than ruffling all up at the
Absolutely.
front. So it has a lot of uses, and a lot of laces can be a bit stretchy.
Sure. Sure.
So I use it a lot for that.
But you can use it to create ruffles as well, can't you? You can create gathers and ripples and ruffles with this
and
elastic.
it just stays there.
Yeah. I did read actually, you can use it for sportswear, leggings, underwear and swimwear. So earlier when we said about those beautiful...
Underwear especially,
Yeah.
because as you know, ladies, you know, we don't like floppy knickers, do we?
No one wants any floppiness
No, we
in the
don't like
knickers.
floppy knickers.
Oh, don't.
And we don't want to go out somewhere and then find that our knickers are right down by our hems of our trousers either.
Absolutely not. Oh, gosh. But also, you can use this for swimwear. I didn't know, but apparently it's chlorine resistant. And it's very high elasticity, but it's heat resistant. So you can wear it in a sauna. You don't have to worry about that as well.
And it just
so it's really
stabilises your swimwear as well. So just to show you, I've actually just pinned that fram elastic.
Let's go close. There we are.
Along there, you can just see it just puckering up there, but that will...
If you come down a little bit onto the bit lower, there we are. We should see it then.
All right, so I've just pinned that on, and you can see that I've pinned it along the seam line that I've just sewn. All right.
Amazing. Amazing.
So now what you do is you sew the seam again, encapsulating the visseline.
Yeah, brilliant.
Or the fram elastic.
Fram elastic. I'm not the only one. Kirsty says that her brother is like this with mimicking accents. She's got relatives in Norfolk, and if they visit them, he ends up with a Norfolk accent, and they're from Lincolnshire. When he goes to the West Country, he's hilarious. Yeah, it's if you have a pint of cider in your hands, that's it. I'm off. People think I'm taking the mickey as well, Elizabeth, and I just can't help it.
That's one thing I can't drink. I can't drink cider. It's too gassy.
Same. So my husband...
Gary loves it.
Yeah, my husband loves a cider. And of course, that means you get bought one, especially when you're in sort of Somerset or Devon, and there's some really good ciders around there. And
some
I do end
strong
up
ones as well.
There is. But I'll have a little bit, and quite gassy. It's not ladylike, is it? In fact, they're belching in public. Geraldine says, did you put the fram elastic on the back or the front of the seam, Rachel? She missed that bit.
Yeah, you should actually put the elastic because eventually the seams are going to be ironed on facing the back. All right, so you actually put it on the front, if that makes sense, so it's touching your skin.
Okay, all right.
Oh, I love these queries coming in.
I know, I love it.
They
ask all the right questions.
It just shows that people are actually listening, isn't it? It's lovely.
Because, you know, it's easy for us just to think we're just sat here chatting to ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, we are really.
I do it all the time.
The fact that you're all listening is a bit of a surprise to me.
Oh.
We're just all gabbing away here.
I have a real
on our own.
conversation with myself sometimes. The good thing is I don't argue back.
No, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's some of the fram elastic on there, and so that will actually make that very, very stable.
Excellent.
So I'm just going to do the other shoulder now, so that we're actually progressing now with the actual make itself.
Yeah. I can't wait to see this done. How gorgeous.
So this is
Jersey's
your other.
beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, it's lovely.
We'll go overhead. You can see what Rachel is doing there.
So this is the other shoulder.
Fabulous.
Oh.
I'm not sure how much this is picking up on the camera, being invisible.
Oh, yeah, that's the problem, isn't
We
it?
just needed a red version. Janet from Vlisolina, could you not have made us a red fram elastic just for this particular show so we could show it, or yellow or something?
Good idea.
Just for demonstration purposes.
Yeah.
Or black or something.
I know what you mean.
Just that we can see it. It's like sometimes when we've got multicoloured thread in the machine and we're about to go to air, and Tasha's like, do you know what? I'm leaving that there because everyone will be able to see my
Yeah,
stitches.
then you can see the stitching.
Yeah.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It really does. Gerardine says, thank you, Rachel. That's a great tip. They're a
You're
lovely,
very
pleasant and
welcome.
extremely polite bunch, our lot. They are lovely. Gorgeous. So your studio then, it's called Magnolia Sewing Studio, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And there's a story behind that. There's a story behind
there's
everything
always a
I
story.
do.
Love a story.
Well, the story is, just winding back a little bit, I've just told you I was adopted. So I was very, very fortunate in going to the family that I did. My mum taught me how to sew, because obviously she was an experienced seamstress herself. So unfortunately, now, when was this? 12 years ago, nearly now, she passed away. She was nearly 90, bless her, but she was she was such a character, honestly. She'd have had you in fits of laughter all the time. And she was a real nice lady. And she lived in a bungalow with this beautiful magnolia tree on the outside, and it was humongous, this magnolia tree. And I always remember her with this magnolia tree. So when I opened up the business, you always think, well, what can I call it? Well, there was only one word for me, and that was magnolia. So that's why I've called it.
Well, they're such a beautiful, elegant flower as well, the magnolia flowers, aren't they? Which is
and
so
I
relevant.
just so happened to find a wallpaper in Laura Ashley. I know they've gone down now.
I've seen the Laura Ashley
so
paper.
that's in my studio. So I've got matching curtains, because I've got like a little compartment set aside for the brides to come in and get themselves undressed and whatever.
Of course.
The fitting rooms. So I've got the matching curtains coming across as well.
Gorgeous.
And the wallpaper there as well. So yeah, that's why I've called it Magnolia.
What a lovely tribute to your mum. Oh, well, she gave you the gift of sewing, didn't she?
She certainly did.
So.
And my dad, who was really good with music. He was always in church choirs, but he had a really nice tenor voice. And so my two sisters, I say, learnt to play the piano, and I used to look at this piano, and I used to love playing the piano, and I taught myself to a certain extent. And then Mum and Dad sent me to a piano teacher who happened to be a concert pianist.
Oh, wow.
So I learnt on a grand piano.
You've had all the best teachers in all things.
Do you know, my life, honestly, has been so extraordinary.
Yeah.
I can just say it really has. The opportunities that have been given to me are just brilliant.
Great.
So I learnt to play the piano. Obviously, I still play the piano. And when I started school, everybody starts off learning to play the recorder.
Of course.
So
yeah.
our next door neighbour was a recorder teacher. See what I mean? My life has just been extraordinary.
Yeah, it's delivered you the right people at the right time by the sound of it, Rachel.
And she heard me play, and she said, well, she said, I teach recorder. She said, would you like to come in and have some lessons? So I did. She did it free of charge because Mum and Dad lived next door.
Incredible.
And yeah, so I learnt to play the recorder and took exams and went in for competitions with it. And then when I started senior school, I started playing the flute. So I ended up playing in orchestras and I used to play for people's weddings and all sorts of things.
I always wanted to play the flute. My friend had one and I'd done the recorder like everyone else. But I had to play with her flute and just loved it.
Well, I've tried violins.
Not for you. Not for you. I'm going to get the face in now because we were on close-up view there still for your sewing. But the face for the violin, that was not for you.
No. I've tried the guitar because obviously Gary was a guitarist before his stroke. And he played for 40 years.
Are you all right? Do you need a glass of water?
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, what I love is, because I'm mic'd up, I can't leave, and normally I have to run around and gather these things. If anyone can hear me, could we have a glass of water, please? I'm sure Josh will get Meg or someone to go and fetch
So now
one.
I've done the shoulders. So you can see on my sample,
whip that
you
off.
can see where I've got the Visseline.
You can whip that one off. Let's undress
Shall
Beryl.
we undress
Throw me
her?
the bag this way. That's it. I'll get that out of the way.
I'm sorry, people. I'm going to have
She's
to turn
got a
around
vest.
that way.
She's got a vest underneath. We make sure that Beryl's modesty is covered at all times.
So there we have the top.
Water, please. Yeah. There's a slight delay, you see, Rachel. So they hear things about 20 to 30 seconds through in the other room later than when we say them. That wasn't someone going. I'll make her wait for
where
her
I've
water.
done the Visseline along here.
Let me just move into.
But I've overlocked the sample. If you can see
and
that.
the overlocking, you said that a lot of jerseys don't fray anyway, but this just gives it
No.
longevity and extra strength, I guess.
It can, but also if you're making a top, how wonderful is it that people say, oh, I love your top.
Yeah.
Where did you buy that?
Yeah.
And you can show them, well, look, it's all finished off nicely and it just looks professional.
Yeah.
If you're going to take the time in making things, then you might as well have it look professional, hadn't you?
Absolutely. And actually, the first time I went to our local craft club, I knew that it was Christmas. It was their Christmas one. They just, once a month they meet normally. Of course, COVID's changed that a little bit and we're hoping to get back to it. But once a month, a bunch of ladies get together in my local town. And they said, oh, everyone's wearing something a bit Christmassy that they've made. So me coming to my first ever one, I thought, yep, okay, I'll do a Christmas make.
Oh, that's lovely, thank you.
Water is
you
delivered.
get the full service here.
I
It's
know.
wonderful. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Oh, don't worry, that's fine.
Yeah, there's a frog in your throat, you don't want biscuits. But the
That's
the first craft club I went to, I thought, well, it's tonight. I've got to throw something together. And I'm one of those people who procrastinates because I want everything to be perfect. But I had a reason to make this, a bit like the skirt I made.
Yeah.
And I quickly grabbed a pattern out. I'd got some woven fabric that had dachshunds in Christmas hats all over it. And I quickly made this top. And I turned up at Craft Club and literally they'd got like a little brooch on. Or you know, just a small item that they'd made that was Christmassy out of felt, or they'd made like a, you know, something to go on your head. It was something little. And there's me turning up and they were like, oh, I like your top. And I said, well, this was my Christmas thing because you said I had to make them wear something Christmassy. And they all went, you made a whole top. I was like, yeah, I did,
It's a proud moment, isn't it?
But that was the first thing I used my overlocker for as well, is I did my seams and then I went back over with the overlocker just to finish them because I thought, well, that makes me use the overlocker. And I think a lot of people are a bit frightened of an overlocker, aren't they, Rachel? And
yeah,
they really needn't be.
Absolutely. And this is why I wanted to sort of try and show people that if you haven't got an overlocker, it's no real big deal. You just use a zigzag or pinking shears, you know, whatever. An overlocker does step you up to the next level with sewing. But if you haven't got one, then it really is not a big issue.
No, it shouldn't be something that holds you back from dressmaking. It's the absence of an overlocker, should it?
Now, what I've done here, if you can remember, I told you that at the front of the top, the front piece of the top, there's a curved edge, which is the
cowl neck.
Which is the self-facing cowl top.
Should we go above and see those next to each other? There we go.
So this is the cowl top. Now what I've done, and which the instructions tell you to do, is to overlock along the edge, because some jerseys can curl up, okay, and it just helps to stop it from curling.
Nice.
So I have done that on my sample.
Lovely.
Now, in order to stop that from rolling completely round the other way, you just fix back. There's like a little piece at the, you've got this funny piece here like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you bend it round to the seam and it holds it back.
Geraldine's just asked me if I can get Natasha to do some demos with her overlocker, please. I absolutely will, and I do believe she's got something in mind anyway that would utilise the overlocker.
Yep.
Because we do love our overlockers, just preferably when they behave.
I think they're very, very good, and I think once people are not frightened of them, you just won't not use them.
No. And I think, you know, sometimes these things just don't like being dragged from pillar to post, do they? So
No.
if yours is having a small strop...
I'm just wondering if it's because I brought it from home.
Maybe, and I think when you get home and you set it back up, it might say, well, I'll work here, thank you.
Yeah.
I just wasn't going to be in front of a camera. Camera shy overlocker.
I should say thank you for that, for embarrassing me this morning.
It's a variety of things we call these machines when they don't behave.
So
there's lots of people saying how lovely your attitude is, Rachel, you know, with regard to your upbringing and the privileged life that you've had. Ali says that her friend was adopted and she was quite jealous, being one of 5, that her friend had been chosen and not just made.
Yes.
And,
yes.
you know, it's so true, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, Mum and Dad were foster parents anyway, so we used to have children coming in and out all the time. You know, and some of it was quite pitiful. You know, I can remember as a child having children arrive in the middle of the night, literally needing somewhere to stay because the parents had either gone to prison or, some of it was it was very, very shocking. Or or the social services took hold of things because they realised that things may not be quite right at home. So they removed the children. So they used to, Mum and Dad always used to be making up a spare bed somewhere for children that used to arrive at 2-3 o'clock in the morning. It was like that. So we always used to have at least 6 children in the house at any one time.
Crikey. But you were a permanent fixture.
And
you appreciated that very much.
Oh, yes. I mean, with the babies that used to come in, obviously being a girl growing up, you sort of turn into little mums, don't you? And I couldn't wait for the babies to be fed, you know, so that I could feed them their bottles. And
of course. It's starting to look like a top now,
It's starting
Rachel,
to
look at it.
like a top. Should I put it round the other way and then you can see, although I haven't done the sides yet, but I'm just going to do those in a second. So, it's just to show you the cowl top.
Oh, this is going to be adorable.
So this is the back facing. So what you do is you just continue the fold round inside like that. So that is your cowl top.
Beautiful. And it's such an elegant look, isn't it, a cowl top?
Oh, yeah.
And comfortable as well.
So it is starting to look like a top.
It really is.
You're absolutely right. So now I'm going to be sewing up the sides.
Beautiful.
So you can actually sew up the sides. Let me get this the right way around. Actually in the instructions it does tell you to take up the hems first on the sleeves.
Okay.
So I'm just going to quickly pin those up and turn them in.
And how much are we turning those in by?
I've got 1/2 inch, but
Okay.
again, the instructions do say 3. Let me do it properly.
Let me refer to the note.
Let me refer to the notes.
RTFI is what we say in our house because
Yep.
my husband does not read the flipping instructions ever. I always shout RTFI at him.
But just
Read
so
the
that I
flipping
can
instructions.
show you how much it says. 1 centimetre.
Okay.
So mine's not that far off at 1/2
No.
inch.
Okay.
So what is 1 centimetre? Let's measure it.
An inch is about 2.5 centimetres, isn't it? So 1 1/4.
It's about 4/8, I would say.
There we go. 1/2
So
inch.
1/2 inch. What's 1/8 between friends?
Wow, there you go.
I'm just going to turn that in.
Oh, Geraldine says, I've used my overlocker, but not much. I've had it nearly 3 years and I've not changed the thread yet. Oh, Geraldine, I'm going to confess. So mine's thread up in black and I thread it up and I went, what's everyone's make a fuss about? It's easy. So it's thread up in black and it stayed thread up in black and that's all it's going to be.
Well,
my mum had one and said, oh, I don't really want this overlocker. And I said, oh, I'll buy it off you. So I've actually bought her overlocker off her to thread up in white or in grey or something inconspicuous, maybe an off-white. Is that awful?
I think the threading of an overlocker is one of the mysteries,
Isn't it?
that actually frightens people off of it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, my overlocker is the same one that Natasha
You've got the swanky one, haven't
I
you?
have. I've got the air threader.
Yeah.
So
the
you've just
Dukey.
literally got to press a button and it whooshes all the way
Yeah.
through. It's marvellous.
And it air threads. So for those
Yeah.
who've not seen this before, it's an incredibly clever piece of kit. We did have a delay on those. I need to check with our supplier whether they're currently available. But anyone who's tried to buy any kind of sewing machine in the last however many months that we've been going through this pandemic and what have you, there's been a huge shortage. I think a lot of people have taken up sewing. There's been
Yeah, they
shipping
are.
issues as well, of course, to get things across. So yeah, we can check the availability on those machines, but they are a game changer, aren't they? With the whoosh, the air thread whoosh.
That's it.
So, oh, Ali says, I don't have children, but when I was in the police, I used to emergency foster children as well. Some of the poor
Oh.
mites were in such a state.
Yeah.
I've been up all night washing clothes and shoes, getting
Yeah.
them dried for the morning so they've got something fresh to wear.
That's it.
Most have never had any love, least of all a cuddle. Oh, you see,
Yeah.
I just wouldn't want to give them away, though, again, you know, if
No.
it was temporary foster care.
I think
just-
any sort of foster care is such. I mean, we've got a lovely lady
Absolutely
in our
incredible.
village that is a foster mother. So we obviously talk quite a bit because obviously of my experiences as well.
Of course.
And it takes a very, very special person to do that.
I think so. It's
You know.
incredible. We have friends who they long-term foster actually now. They've taken them on long-term. It's just an incredible thing that they're doing
Yeah.
for these kids, and they just have the best lives as a
Yeah.
result. It's just wonderful. Geraldine's asking what size we've made today and can it be made longer?
Yes. Funny enough, I was just going to say that. Now, if you wanted a dress,
Yeah.
make it the same length as a dress
Mhm.
and just put like a tie belt over it or
Yeah.
something like that.
Or just loose fit in the
Just
hot
loose
weather.
fitting,
I mean,
whatever
you
you
know,
like. But I
lovely.
think it would be excellent.
Amazing.
So you don't have to sort of stick rigidly to the length of a pattern.
No.
Just follow it, to make the top half.
Absolutely. Geraldine, the size that Rachel's making, you may have missed earlier, we said it was around a 14 to 16. You'd cut it at a 16,
I've
haven't
cut
you?
it as a 16.
But it fits at an 18
Yes,
really
it
comfortably.
It does, yeah.
I am a 14 on the top round the bust, so I've tried it on earlier and taken a picture. We'll get that one on social so that you can see there's a lot of room in it on me. But yeah, I think these patterns are generous, aren't they? Which is good.
Yeah.
Really good.
And Jules does do it deliberately because she's very much.
Oh, dressmaking patterns make you feel terrible, don't they? When
But
you normally.
Jules is very much of comfort.
She
She
really
doesn't
is.
necessarily follow you know, sort of height of fashion and whatever. She does what she believes is comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good ethic to have.
And actually, you know, the patterns when you see them worn, because they look comfortable
Yeah.
and
And you make them
casual
in different fabrics. It's lovely.
It ends up looking so
a
current.
different top.
Yeah, yeah. But you can do so much with this. Absolutely. Getting the pace up now, Rachel.
Pardon?
Getting the pace up now.
I certainly am, yes.
Ali was saying earlier she'd love to try a boat neck pattern as she knows that they suit her.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to find the right pattern, and there's been a really good point here.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Crangle said take an old one apart if you can't find a pattern.
You can do that.
I've done this with some of my clothes recently ready to use as pattern pieces, because if it's what you want and you can't find it,
Yeah.
we've all got a top that we've spilt something on, it's stained or whatever, and you love it and you don't want to get rid of it. You know, what a great opportunity. Take it apart, make a pattern from it. This is very therapeutic, Rachel. I think I just sit and watch you sew more often.
Do you know, my next door neighbour said that to me the other day. She said, oh, Rachel, she said, I don't want to do any sewing. She said, but I'd love to come in, she said, over a cup of coffee and watch you make something.
Lovely.
So I've just done the hem of one sleeve. Have I got enough time to do the other?
You've got as much time as you want. It's fine.
See, I'm not used to this.
Fine. I wasn't given a time frame. Josh will be in the other room going, yeah, Gemma, strictly speaking, there is a time frame.
What's time?
But it's not like, you know, it's not like we're on telly and there's someone going, got another show in 5 minutes, you've got 10 seconds. No, no, none of that.
Now, you will notice that I haven't overlocked the edges. That's obviously just so that I can show you the finished top, because you don't actually have to do that. But, you know, but I have done that on the all the way through on the sample.
So what point would you do your overlocking?
I would do the overlocking before you turn it in under for the hem.
Okay.
So overlock the edge.
Yeah.
Turn it up by the half an inch
Got
or however you want to turn it up.
And then it's a
then
finished
stitch
edge.
it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you wouldn't be able to do it otherwise, because
Sure.
you have to get it in the overlocker.
Yeah, of course. Fabulous. Oh, it is going to look beautiful.
I love that.
We've got
I
people
definitely
saying,
wear bunny rabbits. I
oh,
really
absolutely,
would. Yeah.
for sure. No, we've got people here saying, Rachel, this is what we love about Natasha Makes. You can make it all.
Absolutely. Well, there's nothing worse, is there, than sort of having a demonstration and then you've just got half of it done, and then you bundle it all up, and then that's the end of the show.
Yeah.
Isn't it,
Yeah,
really?
which is a shame.
It is, because
But the
then
beauty of this is that people can watch it back as
Yeah.
well while they're making things. And you know, not all of us are brilliant with written instructions. In actual fact, Geraldine's just said
I wonder
about
how
her
many people
overlocker.
have actually bought their fabrics.
We have had people say that there's patterns that they've already got, so they're buying fabric today from us to make the pattern because they've just had the pattern sat there.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that's just better off from visual learning than reading a pattern.
Oh,
but
and me.
this is another reason why people don't like threading their overlockers or changing settings on them.
I like pointy fingers.
Yeah,
that's what
show
I like.
me and I'll remember. Not, you know, put a book in front of me. But, you know, Geraldine said she doesn't do written instructions very well. She gets confused. That's why she's not played with the overlocker and done more with it. But that applies for patterns as well, doesn't it? And unless you've seen someone make it, it really can be a barrier for a
It
lot
suddenly
of people.
makes sense, doesn't it?
But Rachel will be available for you to watch back, and that's what's wonderful about this. Watching Natasha Makes is like us all being in one room chatting and learning from one another. Just family.
Exactly.
We are a family. We think this. I know last year, I mean, from the very beginning of Natasha Makes, of course, Natasha's my friend, so
Yeah.
I'd been over here pre-pandemic in the very, very early days. And I'd been tidying up mostly, going, Natasha, all of this stuff is everywhere, let me move things around. It was her own demo stock, I had hastened to add, because at that time, she didn't have any warehouse or any stock of her own. She was just listing things on the website that were supplied by third-party suppliers. So it wasn't any, stock per se, it was just her general stash that was all over the place. But I was involved then. And then, of course, but I'm clinically vulnerable, Rachel, so I was told to isolate for months last
horrid,
year.
isn't
I
it?
couldn't even go out the front to my bins. I was told,
it's horrid.
Stay very still and don't move anywhere. But having my alarm set on a Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday to watch Natasha Makes, I meant I knew what day it was. Yeah, I knew what day it was. But it gave my day purpose, that I could get up, watch the show.
A lot of people have said that, haven't they?
Chat to people on the comments, and I didn't feel locked in. I didn't feel as locked in as I otherwise would have done.
Well, it's, because of the wonder of, of computers and things like that, we were able to bring the outside in to many people, weren't they?
Absolutely. So, it reminded me that there was still real world stuff going on that wasn't that wasn't just the pandemic,
It's a terrible time it's been, really, for everybody.
Geraldine's asking if I've tidied up for Natasha today. Oh, I would have done, given the opportunity, but we had a few little challenges this morning, Geraldine, just a few, just a few. We got past them all, and we've now got something that actually looks like, it's going to be a top.
It's going to be a top.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Against all odds. No, Tasha's been a lot better recently at keeping things tidy. It's not bad in here. It's a creative space. It doesn't need to be clinically tidy, does it? It's... I think a sewing room is the one place you're allowed to have a little bit of chaos. A little bit of chaos is allowed.
Well, like Gary has guitars, you see, I have sewing machines because he likes all these vintage guitars.
Beautiful.
He was really good guitarist, and
amazing.
And when I used to go out on gigs with him, it was always like, I haven't seen that guitar before. Where's that guitar come from? Oh, I've had it for ages, and I thought, you flipping well haven't. So.
Then he'll have been able to do the same with you with sewing stuff. Yeah.
And so he comes into my studio and he says, I've seen that sewing machine before. Oh, I've just had it in the cupboard.
Yeah,
I've never used it.
I've had that for years. I'm the queen of that.
Or fabric starts to appear.
Yeah.
Where's that come from?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, right then. So now, the sleeves can be pinned together like that, and the sides. Now you sew all this all in one piece, which is really good,
isn't it?
And quick.
You're not putting any tapes into these seams, but you could if you wanted to.
You could if you really wanted to.
This is where that the seam tape and what have you comes in, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the good thing about that, I was watching and it was saying, it's a really flexible tape, so the elasticity doesn't stop the fabric from behaving like its original self. It doesn't change the properties of it, but it just makes it that bit more manageable if you are struggling. But it still has that stretch, so that if you do need to pull it over your head or be able to stretch it to get it on and off.
Especially with hem, like you say, with hems.
Yeah.
It can actually help to stabilise, around the armholes and things. When you've doubled up the fabric, it's not quite so bad because you've actually given it its own stability. But if you, if you're sewing a single layer, then that's where the tapes do come into its own, really. Right, I'm just going to sew along the side seam.
And I think some fabrics behave better than others, don't they? If you're buying a decent quality premium fabric, it will generally serve you better than something.
It works for you, really.
Yeah. So where have we started on now? Because I know you said you were working all the way around.
This is the side seam, so I've actually pinned up this is the bit round the sleeves here.
Okay,
This is what I'm sewing. So we've got the curve of the underarm
Okay.
here,
Yeah.
and then I'm sewing all the way
From
down
there.
to the bottom.
Lovely.
All right.
Thank you. It helps I'm inherently nosy. I like to know all of this.
Absolutely.
It's so lovely when you see a make like this and you think, actually, this is an achievable make.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really hoping that everyone else feels the same about this. I'm looking at it thinking, yeah,
I mean,
okay.
when you think about it, I haven't actually been sewing this for 2 hours yet.
No, not at all.
And it's nearly
We've
done.
been gabbing. We've been gabbing and all sorts
Yeah,
of
exactly.
things. Yeah. Brilliant.
I'm just going to go down the other side, and then all that's got to happen then is the hem right down the bottom.
Brilliant. And then we'll have a top.
Exactly.
An actual real
An
life
actual
top.
real life top
Hey, amazing.
that you could wear to your wine and cheese party tonight.
Oh, honestly, I think tonight I should just go and lie in a darkened room.
Oh, it's not been that bad, has it?
No, it's just the worry this morning.
Yeah, I
Oh
know.
no, are things going to go right?
I think it's just, I think when you're doing it for somebody else as well, you
Yeah.
just want it to be right, don't you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that shows you care.
Oh my gosh, I so care, you know.
I
it's,
know.
yeah, Natasha's business is important to me. It
Yeah.
really is. And I wanted to do it justice for all of you guys at home as well, because we do love you all very dearly. Oh, we're now discussing what is normal.
Exactly.
We all have issues which
Yeah.
vary on degrees.
What is
Yeah,
normal?
absolutely.
Exactly.
We've all got challenges and different things that.
I think everybody, you know, in some, I mean, obviously some, you know, if people are ill and whatever, but usually everybody's got a story to tell.
Yeah.
And obviously that story is important to that person, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's no worse than somebody else's. You know, I've had experiences where, obviously with Gary and everything, but
Yeah.
some people have been in a far, far worse situation.
But it's just all different.
That's what
isn't
you've
it?
just
And
got to cling to, and it's, you know, it's not what's happened, it's how you're going to deal with it.
Absolutely, it's all attitude, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. The challenges that were presented in life are all part of what shape us, I think.
Exactly.
They really are. I am so excited to see this. So you're just repeating now what you did on the opposite side.
I certainly am. So this is the
Marvellous.
other side.
Ah, Ali said, I think you've done a brilliant job, Gemma. Natasha will be putting you before us more often now, I think.
Whoa.
We've got a question about which thread we use for the fabric. We have actually got, I think, some Metler silk finished cotton in there at the moment,
It
haven't
is,
we?
yeah. It's actually quite nice.
Yeah, yeah.
And it
We had
it
Aurifil
feeds
already
through
to-
the machines really well.
We had Aurifil ready to put into the machine, but we had all sorts of shenanigans occur this morning before we started that needed more urgent
It
attention
needed
than the
managerial
thread.
decisions this morning.
Love it, managerial decisions, executive decisions. Oh my word. You know, when Tash said to me, could you do a bit of work for me? My background, Rachel, is working in the beauty industry, teaching, and
Yeah.
I had a little home salon as well. And I've got a really horrendous injury to my neck and back at the moment that means I can't tilt my head down to my chest for very long.
Oh no.
Which kind of puts you out of work in beauty.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going on with that. That's all in the background. But Tash said to me, why don't you do a few spreadsheets for me? It'll just be a couple of hours, 3 mornings a week. And then it grew and grew and grew and grew. And here I am making supposed executive decisions on the spot.
Have I got time to do the
You've
actual
got as
hem?
much time as you like. Because
So I'm
apparently
going
I
to do
get
the
to make these
bottom.
decisions.
Yeah, I'm going to do the bottom hem, and then I'm going to put it on Bertha.
Now, Beryl, but we can call her Bertha.
Sorry, Beryl.
I feel Bertha would be Beryl's big sister. Maybe
Yeah.
we need one. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure Beryl will love to to model it for us.
I'm just going to pin this up on the bottom. Now you can use your Vaseline tape along the bottom just so that it just stabilises the bottom, or if you like it sort of stretchy, whichever you prefer really. It just makes it easier to stitch, I think, with Vaseline, but
Yeah. Something like Stretch Fix, would that be the right thing to use? I think that said it was soft hem.
yeah, it can
stretchy
be,
garments.
especially at the bottom of skirts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Again, it's just all stabilisation really, because obviously if you don't use it along the hem of a skirt, you can get the hem really puckered.
Yeah. The heavens have opened here. We've not had any reports from
Crikey.
anyone on the weather today, and that's normally the first thing I see is everyone saying, you know, I'm here
It
in
couldn't have
sunny
been-
Renfrewshire, or
It couldn't have been more different yesterday though, could
No.
it?
Well, you were on the beach getting burnt yesterday. The
yeah,
heavens have opened
yesterday,
here.
fabulous time on the beach, and today it's umbrella time.
Absolutely. Ah, Geraldine says, I've loved today. Please come back, Rachel. And you've got the job, Gemma. Holidays will be covered now.
Aw.
With no concerns, as the show would be in safe hands. That's
Yeah.
so lovely.
I'd come back any time Gemma wanted me to.
She also says she's got Bertha here with lots of laughing emojis.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, Bertha definitely then is Beryl's big sister, apparently.
Oh.
Ali says, that's what friends are for, Gemma. I hope you realise your potential. Thank goodness Natasha realised your worth.
Yeah.
So she's got a habit of that. But we do all chuckle. Because she'll say, oh, yeah, you'll just be doing this. My favourite quote from Tash when I started doing some work for her was, don't worry, there'll be no maths. Because my first sort of foray into the working world was when I left school and went into financial services for a few years.
Oh, so did I.
Yeah, so I was in...
What did you?
I was in independent financial advice to start with, and then I was a bank manager for a bit. And then I went, oh, no, binned all that off and set up doing nails and beauty and then teaching nails and beauty. So when she said, there'll be no maths, fret you not, no maths. I can't tell you how much maths I do on a day-to-day basis now. It's all good fun. But yeah, tell us about your background, Rachel, because
I've always been in insurance.
Oh, okay.
And
Claims
I
or
was brought
sales?
up down in Bournemouth, as Kat Deverell knows. And if you're anywhere near the area, Kat Deverell, you'll see County Gates in Poole.
Beautiful
I think
area,
that
Poole.
they're, I can't remember the name of the insurance company now, but it's one with the green heart.
Oh, okay.
But it used to be Frizzell's.
Right.
And so I did an apprenticeship there as a motor insurance broker
Oh, wow.
when I was 16.
So you were in sales side of insurance then?
No, I was an underwriter.
And underwriting, okay.
Yeah. So we did like all the new business underwriting for civil service.
Okay.
And they had various other schemes like the teaching schemes and whatever, but there was all of us that went into various departments, and so that's how I started off, and then I went into commercial insurance sales.
Okay.
So I used to go on the road,
Right.
and actually sell insurance to garages.
Amazing.
So
it's all been on the motor side?
Pubs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all of that.
Wow.
But there's such a lot of legislation
Isn't there just...
now with financial services,
There really
and
is.
you know.
You're one of the few people who'll understand what my husband does, really. So he spent many years as an estimator in a garage, but now he's a motor insurance engineer for an insurance company.
Oh yeah.
So he's the man
What,
that
after
does
accidents
that
and
sharp,
that sort of thing?
sharp intake of breath and tells you whether your car's a write-off or not.
That's right.
Yeah, that's his job. A lot of people go, he's a motor engineer. Oh, he's an engineer. No, he's actually not an engineer. He doesn't have an engineering degree. He's a motor engineer. It's different.
Yeah.
Damages, vehicle damage assessment is what he does.
Yeah, it's quite a difficult thing, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's an emotive issue a lot of the time, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, yeah, because everybody, it doesn't matter what you own, it's always worth more to you
Of course.
than,
of
you know, but
course.
it's whether it's more costly to repair than it is viable.
Oh, Ali says it's not raining there, but it's threatening. We'll send it your way, Ali, don't worry.
And where is Ali?
Yeah, where is Ali? I'm not, do you know, I should know this. How many orders have I processed over the years? Let's see if she wants to share
Is
with
that
the public.
Alison Barton?
It is, yeah.
No, yeah.
Ali will say where she is. But it needs to dry up, so we will send it your way.
Yes, thank you.
Because I'm in flip-flops and I've got to get out to my car.
Yeah.
Oh, John Cole Morgan's back. You're still on. Woohoo! John, don't be
Woo-hoo.
surprised. This is me and Rachel. We were always going to gab on for Britain, weren't we? We have got a nearly finished top, though, so we will shuffle off shortly. This isn't the longest takeover, I don't think. We're going to go for the record on it, I think. But I'm sure someone's done similar.
We just don't do things in halves, do we, Gemma?
No, we do it properly. Oh, it's raining cats and dogs in St Helens, says Gerardine.
In St Helens, that's Merseyside, isn't it? Is that Merseyside?
I think it's that way, yeah. That's what we said earlier.
Right, here we go for the hem, and this is the last bit, ladies and gentlemen.
Last hem. So is this all around the bottom?
This is all round the bottom.
Beautiful.
So you can use your stabiliser, but because this is sort of a fairly sort of what I would class as sort of like a medium knit, you don't always need that stretchiness, but some jerseys can be quite fine, and then you would definitely need to have a stabiliser underneath.
All right. But fortunately, there are options. Oh, Beryl's waiting for her moment now. Don't worry, Beryl, you will soon have a lovely top to put on. Get her turned around, ready? Isn't it lovely when you get to the end of something like this and you see it all come together?
It's just such a, I don't know, I get a lot of satisfaction out of it.
Oh, Ali says she's from Staffordshire Moorlands.
Oh.
Yes. Karen says it's spitting in Wigan. It'll be a damp dog walk today rather than the downpour they had yesterday. Elizabeth Crangle says she likes the way that you measured and pinned the hem, Rachel, to give the fold line. She said she likes the way you measured and pinned the hem to give the fold line.
Ah, thank you. Yes, I always do that. It's just a force of habit now.
Get an extra bit of fabric in a minute and just explain that one for anyone who missed it, perhaps.
Does she mean that the hem that I pinned
Yeah,
up?
she says I like the way you measured and pinned the hem.
Yeah.
To give the fold
right,
line.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's lashing it down in Maidenhead. I think a lot of us are in for a wet weather day today.
I think we are. Well, I'm going to help at a wedding tomorrow, one of my customers, and I haven't stitched anything.
Has the bobbin run out?
Well, yes.
Oh.
So I have. Yeah. So I have.
I think we've got a spare bobbin on the top if you did want to load one, but otherwise we have an almost complete top, don't we? Bobbin chicken.
Do people want me to hem this up before the end of the show?
Do you know, we've all played bobbin chicken at some point and lost, haven't we? It's completely up to you whether you want to load that up. But perhaps we can just show you a nice neat folding and pinning
I think
there.
what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it on Beryl.
We can imagine that bottom bit's hemmed, can't we, ladies and
You just
gents?
stitch it along like you did with the sleeves, really.
Absolutely. Bobbin chicken. Tash plays that game at least, I'd say at least a couple of times a month she loses at bobbin chicken. It's all part of sewing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, Ali's actually spotted it, I think, before we did. I think you've run out of thread, Rachel.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
She could see on the close-up. I didn't see it.
It happens to all of us.
Oh, dear.
So that's the top.
Oh, can we bring that one in a little bit? Can you pick
Yeah.
Beryl up and move her slightly to the centre? Look, there we go. And let's see her. Look at that. Gorgeous. Oh, you're clever. I say, oh, you're clever. You're there like, Gemma, I've just put together a little top. I could make a wedding dress for you. But no, that looks fabulous, doesn't it? And it really does look like an item you'd buy in a shop. It looks brilliant.
Most definitely.
But you really think this is achievable for a beginner as well, that they could get this level of finish?
Absolutely. With just 3 pieces to worry about, no
Brilliant.
notches, nothing like that. You just, and it more almost sort of like forms itself, you know, because it's quite a medium knit.
Gorgeous.
You know, so.
Oh, Rachel,
So that's
thank
its
you.
twin.
That is its twin.
Yeah.
It is its twin. They're lovely. Ah, you clever bean.
Thank you
Well,
ever so much
thank
for
you
having
so
me.
much.
I've enjoyed myself.
Everybody, I'm going to leave those discounts on, and basically until Natasha spots them. So make the most of them. I did quickly mention earlier, but I have put a deal together where you can get a big bottle of flatter and a big pressing mat, and that actually has £13.99 off it when you buy that as a bundle, which is just amazing value. And we have the small bottles of flatter with the small pressing mat, and that's £8.99 discount as well. But again, on the website, you'll find those on the Guest Designer Takeover page. Have a little look in the fabric clearance as well. And for those of you that are signed up to the newsletter, you will have received our Friday deals, because obviously today we've got a show on a Friday. We don't normally, Rachel, we're Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's just the last Friday of the month that we have a show when we have our Guest Designer Takeover. But every single Friday we have deals. Every Friday we have deals, but unless you're signed up to the newsletter, you won't hear about them. So that's what we need to do.
Gary.
Oh, Gary could come in and say hi, can't you?
Come on in.
Get Gary to give everyone a
Come on in.
wave.
Yeah, come on in.
Rachel's told everyone when you're going to give them a wave, so you're going to have to come up to here where the camera can see you.
Just helping him in so we don't trip over anything.
There we go.
There he
Everyone's
is.
loved the demo. Nice wave for everyone.
Yeah,
and
how's it going?
Yes, Natasha will be back on Monday. In fact, there was a bag floating around that we took off Beryl earlier. I've put it to one side now, but the beautiful Odile by Earl. Aha, it's here, the bag, it's here. I'm going to throw it in your direction, Rachel, and you can wave it around.
So how do you pronounce that then?
Odile by Earl.
By
Yes,
Earl.
we've got wonderful Claire Angelina, who is French, and she taught us. But on Monday, Natasha is back with an Odile by Earl show. This wonderful bag here, which if you could just hold it up for me, Rachel, that'd be amazing.
Of course.
We had these in and they sold out at a rate of knots. If you turn it round, it's different on the other side as well. But doesn't that feel divine, that bag?
Oh, it's velvet.
It's beautiful, absolutely stunning. I'll pop it into the
I
overhead.
want to wear this bag.
There we go. If you lay it flat, we'll be able to see it from the front. But these sold out at a rate of knots last time, and we've got them back for Monday. There may be other colourways. There may be some other wondrousnesses as well. And the wonderful Odile by Earl fabrics that are so difficult to get hold of.
That goes with that top.
It does. I put it on earlier. Beryl had it on for the first part of the show. Yep. Beryl was rocking the look earlier of the two together. But on Monday, we'll have lots of Odile wondrousness for all of you. So please join us Monday. Thank you so much for your support today. Rachel and I have loved it, haven't we?
Yeah, and I think you do think Gemma's done really well.
Thanks. Likewise, you're the one that produced the beautiful top. But it's been great. Have a wonderful weekend, and keep sewing.
Bye. Oh, we've gone. Oh.